Hello and welcome to Garblag Games. Tonight we have episode 1 of Roads and Ruins, our Pathfinder 2nd edition actual play. This is a bit of a hexcrawl homebrew world mountain adventure, so it should be lots of fun. And I'm Pete, and I'm the game master.
I think that's my cue. Hello, I'm Aldoon, and I'm Aldoon.
Who are you playing?
Hi, I'm Roger.
Who are you playing, Aldoon?
Who am I playing? I'm playing Clip Kilhaven, the elf gunslinger.
Hi, I'm Roger. I'm playing Einar Eriksson, the Jotun champion.
Hello, my name's Millie. I'm going to play Rasilka, the ruddy amazing dwarf swashbuckler.
Hello, I'm Ben, and I'm going to be very professionally playing Crystal, the Oread summoner.
Good evening all, I am Dan and I'm playing the Kitsune Oracle, Leroux Renard.
Excellent. Right. Well, last time we tried to stream and it didn't work. So we had a little bit of a technical error last week. So we're getting stuck into it this week. Our last session was character creation, where we went through and everyone made their lovely, strange bevy of interesting characters. So it's a good mix, and I think there'll be a lot of fun to see how it all works together. And this, as I said earlier on, is a hexcrawl adventure in my own setting, the World Mountain, and we're going to leap straight in to the fun. So you have all been traveling out from Pargranin, which is the furthest Erelosian city-state from the war front. The war has just ended and peace talks are happening very far away. The Countess of Pargranin is taking advantage of the situation by sending people, expedition teams, off into the Rimwood Wilds, which is a huge stretch of untamed wilderness very near her city, very far from everybody else, so she has a kind of doorstep advantage. And the idea is that there is an old, ancient, dwarven megalopolis hidden beneath this now forested and hilly area. And an outpost has been set up, and you guys have been sent out to work with them as explorers, to wander about the wilderness, poking your head in holes, looking for trouble, and generally having lots of fun in the forest. So I've got some hexcrawl rules that I've modified from the Games Mastery Guide, and we'll be using those as we go. So you've spent the last week or so traveling along the old road, which, as it suggests, is a bit of a beaten up old road that stretches off into the wilderness away from Pargranin. Few people head out that way, as the old trade routes that would reach the elven nation of Ledrire and the dwarven underground fortress of Dreldumir have long ago disappeared in this wild forest that has grown up in this area, because the magical rain and moisture that drifts down from Glorim above you, the layer of the World Mountain above, has just meant verdant life has grown up all over this region over the last 100 years, and it's thick forest, like the picture behind Aldoon there. That's good. And the old road is like the last bit of kind of civilization headed out, and as you get closer and closer to Emberwatch Tower, the road surface is sort of broken more, the trees are getting in closer, the canopy is thicker, and you can see it's kind of darker out there under the trees. And finally, on the kind of 8th day, you can see ahead now, within the day's travel, Emberwatch Tower. And it's a strange red metallic conical structure with a dome on the top, that you can see very far away. And in fact, it is considered a landmark, which will come into our hexcrawl rules later on. And as you get closer and closer, you can see there's a palisade wall built around it. And in fact, you can see sort of chimney smoke coming from a couple of buildings inside. And you can see figures moving around on some sort of platform around the inside of the palisade. So you can see there are people defending it, actively keeping an eye out. And as you cover the last few sort of 100 yards towards the space before the gate, here the road is now completely falling apart, almost as if the hill that Emberwatch Tower sits on rose up and broke this road. But that surely not. And you can hear off in the distance a river flowing somewhere. And before you can see this kind of big gate, two big wooden doors. And to the side of it, a figure stands on the parapet and shouts out, "Ho there, ho, ho, ho." So there's an elderly human, male, that's kind of standing to the side of on the parapet of the gate, and he's kind of waving his hands.
We've got an incredibly charismatic party, so which one of us jumps in first?
Yeah, I will raise my flag and hello there.
They said there'd be a party with a Jotun headed up here.
I brought mead.
Kjalla will be happy to have another of her kind. I am, let me find his name. I am Sir Althus Credwin, watch officer of Emberwatch Tower. You are Einar and companions?
Yes, these are the people I'm with. There is Clip, I will say, gesturing at the elf. Rasilka, they're bloody amazing. Pointing at the dwarf.
He kind of cocks his head to the side when you say that. He's like,
Crystal, pointing at the Oriad. And LaRue pointing at the Kitsune.
Well,
Kitsune
welcome.
on a horse.
He
interest.
Sorry?
Is the Kitsune on a horse? I'm
No.
just not quite sure how that works.
We've all got motorbikes.
Okay, that's all right then.
He calls down to the courtyard, open the gate, open the gate. And you hear sort of things sliding out of the way, and these two big gates are opened up, and you can see inside, and they kind of welcome you in.
Expecting trouble?
It's always best to keep the gates closed and the wall manned. You never know when strange creatures might come wandering out of the forest.
Well,
Indeed.
you're letting us in.
Yes. Well, you were on the road and expected. If you had appeared out of the trees, perhaps there may have been a loose arrow. Who knows?
Maybe we need some sort of code word to make sure we're meant to be here.
Well, I can. Your descriptions were given to us. A bird was sent ahead with a description of your party.
How about wait, don't shoot?
That's not a very good password. Birds lie. You can't trust birds.
That's 3 words. It's not a password. That's
Birds lie. That's a password.
Birds
no,
lie.
That's two words.
How about skull?
It can be a pass phrase.
Oh.
Doesn't have to be one word. You're being literal there.
Sorry.
Well, perhaps you should take this up with Doric if he has any.
No, let us
preference.
continue to bicker in the gateway.
Well, they're kind of ushering you in, and these guards are like, come on. So they kind of get you inside and then they shut the gates. They are fairly quick to close the gates and secure them. Although on your journey, you've had no real interference. The old road has got maybe a few days ago, there was like the last tavern where hunters and people who go off into the nearby woods stop over for, their meals and board. But beyond there, it's just really this outpost now. That's the last bit of civilization. And inside the wall perimeter, there are 4 buildings. One is a ruin, and you can see that these buildings are older buildings that are in the process of being repaired. And there are a couple of teams of laborers moving around, craftsmen built, with hammers and tools and gear and block and tackle and all that kind of stuff. 3 buildings have been repaired. You can tell because there's a mixture of stone being used and fresh wood supports, etc. And one looks to be a forge. You can see someone banging away on an anvil, preparing things. One is a stable, so there's horses are kept there, and your horses are taken into the stable. And the third is kind of looks a bit like a longhouse, perhaps a barracks or something, more sort of where people might stay. And then in the middle, there's this big, strange metallic tower. It's not very tall, so it's like 2 stories tall, but it's kind of this kind of cone that has this dome on the top, and you know that there's a slot on the far side that looks out across the Rimwood Wilds. And he says, Sir Arthur says that his honor is awaiting you in the map chamber. He points up to the top of the tower. Please feel free to make your way up.
Are we all like road dusty and
You are a bit. You've been traveling for a while. You've been sleeping under the stars, maybe under the trees at the edge of the road. So you're probably a bit mucky, a bit dirty, but you are adventurers, so it's not necessarily uncommon for you to be mucky and dirty.
This is Undrum's own dirt.
But I did pay a lot of gold for some fine clothes as well as these crappy clothes. And I do have a dueling cape I would like to get out. So before we go up and see fancy folk, I too would like to look like a fancy folk.
Okay. Okay.
So is there lodgings? Is this something like, forgive me, is this something we've already had advanced?
You've been told that you will have lodgings here, and that they're not fancy. Mm-hmm. They're kind of what they are because of the nature of the outpost. But there will be lodgings in the main area. And you assume that means this big building that looks like a kind of longhouse.
All right. Well, the old chap who was like, head up and see him, is he still around? He's
kind of wandering around, but he's nearby if you want to grab him.
Yeah, I would be like, I haven't got an accent yet. That might come in a couple of weeks. I don't know. I like
Prestonian. It sounds like.
Yeah, slightly northern. Yeah. I'll wave him back. I'll be like, hey, yes, good chap.
Yes.
And I'll gesture. I'll do like this. Be like, I can't go. And do you not? Is there a room with a bucket of water, a clean bucket?
I was leaving that all up to Doric. To be honest, I have ball duties to attend to, but you've all got rooms in the barracks. Yes, there's rooms assigned to you. I don't know which ones they are though. But yes, I'm sure if you find some empty rooms in there and you need to drop your gear before you go and see him, he'd understand.
Good. And I'll do that. You know that thing where people do that. I don't know where I'm going, and I'll just point around the.
He kind of nudges. He kind of points past you, like over your shoulder, like that one there, that door over there.
All right, and I'll just head off that way.
Very good.
LaRue follows. Also, she needs to clean herself up, and also probably shapeshift from full fox form to part fox form, part human form.
Okay. And you only like doing that in private, or?
Yeah, she doesn't like doing that. She
Cool.
doesn't like people seeing her transformation unless it's absolutely necessary.
That's cool.
It would be rude of the rest of us to head on up without the others. So perhaps we could all take this opportunity.
Sure.
I'm going to walk the walls, see what there is to see.
Personally, I fail to see what's wrong with Ondrum's good, clean dirt, but
is there somewhere to get a drink?
Your hand. There is a drink currently in your hand. The other hand. Oh, I see your problem. Yes.
Got a spare hand.
He was sort of walking away, Sir Alphys, but he kind of looks back over. He goes, "Yeah, in the mess hall in the barracks, there's a couple of barrels of ale, but go easy. We don't get a lot of it out here."
Oh, go easy because you don't have much. Not go easy with because he can. Yeah.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
coherent.
And now, if you do, I'm very sorry, but I have things to attend to. And he kind of walks away, and you look in, and there's not a lot of people in this court. There's some laborers, one group of which are actually staring at Crystal, the Oread, like with like a little bit of but there are 2 teams of guards moving around, and you can see some other guys who look sort of studded leather armor, helping the laborers, helping the guards, doing a few bits and bobs around. Excuse me. Okay, so some people go over to the barracks.
Mhm.
As you go over, you can hear some people inside, and when you enter into, there's a big main sort of double door affair going on. Slightly too short for a Jotun, but you just kind of duck
I'm
under
not
the
going
lid.
to the barracks.
Oh, you're not going to the barracks. Okay, but still slightly too short for a Jotun. But when you go in, you enter into a central kind of, you guess this chamber is kind of the middle of the building,
Mhm.
and then there are doors on either side that you assume go off to private chambers. And this room in here, there are people kind of sitting around at tables on benches. It looks a bit like a bar.
Mhm.
There's an area at the back where someone is serving, getting food out. I wouldn't necessarily call them a cook, but or a chef. It's more of do you want some beans and jerky kind of thing.
Food preparation executive.
Yes.
Dinner maid.
Yeah. And
lady.
there's only a couple of people in here.
I'll do that, like rooms, empty rooms, and I'll point at the doors.
Someone looks up with a kind of big spoon of like gruel in their mouth
Mhm.
and just points over to one side.
That.
There's a few through there.
Thank you very much. Cards
Merci.
later. Yes.
Yeah.
I give him thumbs up, and I'll just head off. Just like.
LaRue doesn't look like she knows entirely what she's doing, so she kind of like looks around and then kind of follows after. Because she's like not sure about this whole. She's just used to being in a noble court with a countess.
Are you
and things
currently
like
a
that.
fox?
Yes, I'm currently a fox. I'm going to get changed,
Okay.
literally, from a fox.
So you're a confused-looking fox.
Many-tailed fox. So
Yeah,
not a
many-tailed
normal
fox.
Many-tailed fox, yeah.
Oh.
Yes,
But
indeed.
people see all kinds of interesting
Like
ancestries.
Vulpix. Sorry.
Yeah, very much
Yeah.
like more like nine tails because I'm
Oh, okay.
white. I'm Arctic.
Okay. So the 2 of you go that way.
Mhm.
Was anyone else going into the barracks with them?
No.
Okay, so you guys go and get changed.
Yeah,
Only
that's
the posh people.
that's
Don't
all I want to
get dressed
do.
up.
I want
That's
to
cool. You
find
find a couple of empty rooms, and you get changed into different attire or physical forms, whatever you want to do. We'll assume that you're doing that for like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
So we'll cut back outside to the others. Clip, you are walking the walls.
I want to just see what I can see. Mostly I want to see
Okay.
the trees because
Okay.
I don't like buildings.
Okay, so you go up on the wall, and there's a few people on, a couple of guards who are like looking out, crossbows in hand, looking over the wall, walking around patrolling. And when you get up there, you can see it's not like a nice neat little line of trees around the tower in a kind of circle. There's a bit of a descent over there. You're on the side of a bit of a hill. The trees start further down there. You can see some over to the left. But beyond, there's just this like big sea of trees that's kind of spreading out. And in the far distance, rimward and duskward, you can see mountains. And you all know that those mountains off in that direction are where Draldumir, which is a dwarven fortress city underground, is based. And in the other direction towards the sea, there is the newly sort of 10-15 years newly created Orc City Erebag, which has been trading on the seas with Erelos and Nolos, but no one's made a kind of gone the land route. They want a bit of isolation. They're kind of keeping themselves safe from people because of their previous experience with Braktagar. So you kind of, your directions, you're getting a sense of your bearings, you're looking around and kind of getting a feel for the trees. Yeah, it's good. It's a good vantage point. You can see why this is here.
And does it sit over the river, or I can ask one of the guardsmen?
The river kind of goes past.
It goes past.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What's your fresh water supply like, boy?
Good. Well, we got a well around the back there, and we can, if it's dry on a day, we can go and get some from the river. So we're pretty good.
That's
Pretty
good to hear. Okay.
Mm.
I'm just kind of flicking the wall and poking it, testing the
Yeah.
engineering.
Engineering might be generous. It's stripped and heat treated or tarred kind of trunks, all lined up, kind of tied, nailed, put together in various different ways. It looks solid, but mostly due to like the mass of it. It's pretty hefty wall. You don't think it's going to fall down anytime soon, but it didn't require a hell of a lot of engineering to build.
So what you all looking out for in that there forest?
Oh no, you've some guard lad is kind of there.
Yeah.
He says, "Well, we're keeping an eye out. We've been waiting for you. We're here holding this location, so you can go out and find all the ancient treasures of the dwarven city that was." He kind of gestures.
That's
Somewhere.
what you've been told.
Yeah, that's what we've been told.
You think you
Yeah.
get some slice of that treasure, do you?
Oh, I'm here doing my duty for Bargranin. If we can bring honor to our city and new resources and new riches and maybe some territory, then we will be in ascendance, and that's why we're here.
How many summers you seen, boy?
18.
Really?
I think maybe a couple less than that, maybe.
Okay, just stay behind me.
Well,
If there's trouble.
I'm going to stay here. I think you're going. He kind of points out.
Yeah, I'm now a lot happier about that. Okay.
Sure. Well, I know what I'm doing. My brother, he fought in the war. He taught me how to fight. Every time he'd come back from his drills, he'd drill me. I was a bit younger, but I'm eager. I know what I'm doing with my weapon. And he kind of does a few like little, and he does seem to be like fairly competent, but probably at his drills and will never have been like in mortal danger or close combat with something. So
does he do that LARPer thing where he picks up his sword and swings it round once and goes, "Hey, good balance"?
Yeah. This is a spear. Yeah.
How are you on ranged? I recommend you stick to ranged and you stick to
I've got
a
a
big
Pat's
wall.
a crossbow that's sort of leaning against the wall. I've got a crossbow. We do practice. We set stuff up. We do practice from the wall. We do practice in the courtyard. We go out. We do practice in the forest as well. But when we've got time, there's a lot going on. Just getting this place up and running. There's been so much work. He's kind of looking around to make sure his supervisor's not looking at him at this moment.
Crossbow's a good weapon.
And he kind of looks at your kit, and he's like looking at your.
I have a ridiculously long rifle.
Yeah.
On my back and a very wide-mouthed pistol on my hip.
It's like, it looks like you're ready for anything. I mean, he says that looks cool, but what is that? He says, pointing at your.
My hand cannon.
Mm.
That's for when they get too close.
where'd you get? I mean, how'd you learn this stuff? Could you? I mean, you're going to be here for a while. I know you're going to be out in the trees, but I'm sure you'll come back. Would you show us how to use those things? Could you teach us?
I can do that. We can start off with your crossbows, see how you're doing with them. Principles pretty similar. And then,
Okay.
yeah, those of you that show promise, we can give it a go. Spent me the last couple of decades in Gnomish City learning how to make these things. So,
Oh wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And then like he catches Sir Althus, and he's like, get back to Sentry, come on. And he sort of shouts at him a bit, and he goes, sorry, gunslinger, but I've got to get back to keeping an eye and doing my duty. So nice to talk to you.
you carry on there, young guard. Don't die before I can train you.
Excellent. My name's Josen.
Jokeson. My name's Clip.
Nice to meet you, Clip.
Likewise. I'll just stare out at the
Cool.
trees.
Sure. Right, Crystal and Einar, what are you guys up to?
I'm going towards the direction where there was ale.
I'm following the
So
Jotun.
the mess hall.
Yeah, that's kind of the central room of the barracks. So that's the
Oh, okay.
big chamber where they went in and they had some food and stuff. So you guys wander around for a moment and then head in there. And there's a couple of people eating and this kind of camp cook rather than chef, dishing out slop. You know, it looks like sort of thick vegetable soup kind of thing. As you come in, and he sees you enter, Einar, and he goes, right. He reaches over and he dunks a mug in a big barrel of ale, and comes back, puts it on the table in front of you. Is that welcome? This is
What time of day is it?
it's just after early afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome.
I'll say kind of crouch down slightly.
Yeah. Well, once you're in the room, you're okay, but the doorway was pretty short. He goes, we don't get a lot of Jotuns in here. I mean, Hjalar, Earthbound, she comes in, after her prayers for her ceremonial 4 pints
Ceremonial.
in order to honor Ondrum, obviously. So we have ale ready, but it is a pleasure to see another Jotun. Surely you've got great stories to tell.
One or two, but I am hoping to make more.
Of course. One of the expedition teams, I assume.
I am. I have come with my companions.
Excellent. Well, I've got
And I'll
some
kind of
things to
tip the ale into the tankard I brought with me, so
Okay.
I'm not stealing this guy's tankard when
Sure.
I leave.
He
How big was
he
that
says,
thing that you filled up? I mean, is it as big as my tankard?
yeah,
Excellent.
He's got a Jotun-sized one.
This is my associate, Crystal.
It's an honor to meet you.
I'm going to prestidigitate the dirt off of myself into a small stone in my hand. Just sort of pop it on the bar. You know, like a dog shaking the water off,
Mhm.
only with rocks.
Do you want me to dispose of that for you, or are you taking that with you?
You can keep it.
Okay. Kind of takes it and puts it under the bar. So, when I say bar, it's not really a big bar. It's like a short, serving area, which he sort of leans on. You should really, both of you should really meet Hjalar Earthbound. She'd be pleased to meet both of you. Clearly, another Jotun and one touched by Ondrum themselves. It's what an interesting group of people that have come to Emberwatch Tower. This gets more exciting by the day.
That would be nice. I would like to meet her.
She's usually up in the map chamber with Doric consulting. With
I
the
think I'd
others.
be in the way of that meeting.
I have no idea. Someone at the other end of the room goes, "Can I have another?" And he goes, "Okay, sorry, I've got to." And he goes off and gets some food and drink.
Well, let's go outside and wait for the others.
As you do turn to go outside, that is when Rosilka and LaRue come out of the side door,
Like
and they see you.
Rosilka enters in the same manner as Lord Flashheart would enter. Like
Smoke bomb.
It's an explosion and you slide down a rope into the
yes, exactly that. If I could, I might have to have a chat with Clip. But it is that sort of like boom, woof sort of entry.
It's me! Ha!
Yes, that is exactly it.
Maybe jumping from a stool to a table
Yeah,
to be like,
just run up. Yeah, and then there's like 3 people. I'm just like, and then I'll get down off the stairs. Yeah, I'll get down off the stairs. I'll just be like, she can't find.
Solid effort. 4 out of 7.
I'll take
Well
it.
done for trying.
Thanks. And I'll just like dejectedly walk across the room to the other side, and
That's a very fetching cape, though.
yeah, it's a good cape. It's done me well.
Can we go upstairs now?
Yeah, okay, yeah. Look around for that guy who was like cards, and just be like later, and point to the door as I head off that way. Just be like,
now you've got all your fancy cape on. He's not so sure. He looks a bit concerned.
wait till he sees my deck of cards. Yeah.
Special cards.
I did. Spent all my gold on them. 2
Brilliant.
sets of
Right.
cards.
You'll get it back.
No, I hope.
Sorry, just having a bit of a coughing fit there. Sorry about this.
Oh, get well soon, Pete.
Yeah.
Big fancy cape, big fancy pants. Not going anywhere without them.
I had planned on
trousers.
downloading like a resonating thing so that I could get a nice sort of tinkly echo on my voice in character, but that was too hard, so I didn't do it.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Well, that sort of crystally echo thing that you get.
Thank you,
That would be cool. That would be cool.
Cool.
Okay.
So
you
we head
guys
upstairs.
Head up into the main tower.
On the way out and up to the main tower, I shall. It's to Cliphaven,
What?
Killhaven. Not kill Cliphaven, Clip Killhaven. That's right. Sorry.
You could be so musical, and you're not.
We're going upstairs now.
Okay. Oh,
LaRue awkwardly tries to link arms with Roselda. like, hello.
As someone who's got some style.
Yes. LaRue is also very well attired, very courtly. And what you'll all notice right now, she's in a human form, but obviously she still has her fox ears poking up through her hair, and she has very foxy eyes still, and she still has tail. But other than that, she looks mostly human at this point in time.
Mostly.
Stylish.
And she has
but,
canines that still are on show a little bit as well.
Like
I don't have hair. I have gemstones.
Hello. And she links arms. You and I will be best of friends.
Sure, of course.
It's more the fact that LaRue thinks you know what you're doing.
Oh, yeah, because I'm running into a room and jumping on the table.
Exactly. You look rather fabulous, and while Pete referred to us all as adventurers, LaRue is not an adventurer. she is a courtly fox. She is not used to being out in the wilds.
Excellent. All right, so I'll link arms. I'll nod, and we'll head. Possibly letting the Jotun lead, because people get out the way for a Jotun, and so not that there's lots of people here. I'm just like, let the Jotun go first. They move out the way. It makes a nice.
I mean, my strides are quite long. It's probably a significant possibility.
It's also easier to walk behind the Jotun.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Otherwise, you have to scurry, and it just looks less flattering.
Booted.
Mhm.
So you make quite an impressive sight.
I'll bring up
Jotun
the
at the
rear.
front. To have a mixture of kind of very glittery, shiny, dapper-looking folk, guns emblazoned, all kinds of stuff going on as you make your way into Emberwatch Tower proper. And the ground floor looks to be some sort of armory equipment area, and there are guards in here keeping an eye on all the stuff and checking weapons, and some of them are putting bundles of arrows and bolts into small baskets and drums. And there's a flight of stairs that goes upwards, and you can hear some people upstairs talking and moving around. So as you kind of head up the stairs, unless anyone wants to talk to the guards with the equipment, you get up to the top, and you can see in the center of this domed room, which has this vertical slot in it on the far side, a group of people standing around a table. There is a dwarf who's heavily armored and sort of standing there looking very thoughtful, pulling on his beard. There is an elf who, strange, sort of pale look to them, a distant look in their eye, and on their robes an eye with sort of a spirally, almost tentacly pattern inside the eye, sort of woven into their clothing. And then as well, a large Jotun female who is wearing armor and sort of pacing around the room saying, "I remember the last time we were fighting hobgoblins," blah, 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 and sort of rattling off a story of battle. And then over, sitting behind a desk, there is an orc lady who has a pile of books and papers and scrolls all on the table in front of her, and she is studiously writing as people are talking. As you kind of get closer, the dwarf looks up and he says, "Ah, you've arrived. Excellent. Come forward, come forward. I am Doric Emberblade, third son of Countess Dottrell Emberblade, and I've been sent here to look after Emberwatch Tower and make it a jumping off point into the Rimwood Wilds. And I believe you are the first group that my mother has sent to investigate these wilds.
What's his
welcome.
title? If one is addressing him properly.
The Honourable Doric Emberblade, so his honour.
And we are, Your Honour.
Yeah.
A pleasure to be here.
Mm-hmm. Yes, well, I'm glad you're here. We need the help. We've got a small staff at the moment, and as capable as they are, he says, looking around the room, we have few hands and no one really at their leisure yet to head out into the wilds and explore. There's plenty of strange holds and treasures to be found out there, and we want to put Pa Granin's stamp on it first. So we're very excited to get you here and get you out. He says, sort of pointing out through the slot, you can see the forest outside.
Have you selected any likely targets for us, Your Honour?
Well, he points down to the map that is kind of being held down by a couple of knives in corners and like a tankard one end and a big rock the other. And on here you can see Pa Granin and the old road heading out to the Emberwatch Tower. There's not a lot on the map other than that. However, there are 3 locations with kind of coins placed on them, which I believe you can see on the hexcrawl.
A lake, a ruin, and a village?
Yeah. And he says, he looks over at the elf and he says, "Tereth, maybe you'd be best placed explaining." And you all look over at this elf who, does anyone have, oh, let me have a quick look at skills, proficiencies. Does anyone want to make a religion roll?
Why not?
No, I don't much care for it myself.
How do you feel about Sonic law?
What about Elven law?
LaRue, you can tell that Tereth is a member of the Lucid Eye. which is an order of elves that worships the Leviathan, known as the Dreamer, that lives in the elemental ocean above in
They're
Glorim.
all super cool guys, and you should trust them all the time.
Wow. Yeah, they don't sound totally shady at all.
No, they're
and they
not.
have
They're legit.
they have a
Worship
little bit of a
Cthulhu.
reputation of, yeah, basically, but good Cthulhu.
Good Cthulhu. The
Well,
Dreamer's nice. Be nice to the Dreamer.
is it?
Yeah, it's
Cthulhu.
lovely.
I'm not going to wake it up.
But LaRue, you can also tell that the Jotun has a smaller, more modest symbol, maybe it just looks smaller on a Jotun, a symbol of the floating mountain that is Ondrim, that would pick her out as a priest of Ondrim. And Tara says, yes, I have had many visions of late as this great undertaking has happened. I have been given gift of sight by the Dreamer. There are 3 sites nearby, one that did not require a vision of mine to see, but the 2 that did, there is a lake not far from here where we believe a concentration of primal power from Glorim is gathering within the waters of this lake, within eddies, tucked behind rocks, and it was a swirling mass of color. It's beautiful. The most beautiful water I've ever seen. And that aroused my interest, and I recommended to his honor that we should perhaps look there. The other site I saw was a ruin, a dilapidated old structure. I could not tell what it was, but I could tell that it was made by dwarven hand and a long time ago. That ruin is a location. And then the dwarf says, and the other location is over here. There's an old village that we think needs checking out, and there may be maybe things to look at there. And on that point, we need to take a short break. So I need to go quickly and so there are 3 locations. Hello, we're back, by the way, sorry. 3 locations that may prove of interest to look at first. They know that anywhere out in the wilds, there could be interesting sites, locations, treasure, monsters, and more. However, there are three locations that they believe are worth looking at. So there was the lake, the vision of the lake, a ruin. I believe we can probably see that on the map right now. And then a village, which is very close by, which would be a day and a half's, 2 days travel most. Now this is where we start to get into the hexploration rules. Each hex takes a certain number of exploration activities to travel through and to reconnoiter. Now, a forest is difficult terrain, so it takes 2 travel actions, and you guys get 1 per day, unless you force march. Plains, which are the yellowy areas, are 1 a day, and with the road, it makes it even easier, so it becomes half a day. So the road is quite long, and you've traveled all the way up the road quite quickly. But as soon as you step into the forests, it slows right down. And these are semi-magically encouraged forests. The trees aren't magical. There's not necessarily Ents everywhere, for example, but the rain coming down from Glorim is primal and juiced up with a bit of fey energy. So here the plants grow thick and fast, and they've advised you that you probably won't be able to take horses into the forest. They would just turn their hooves or break break an ankle or something quite quickly. So Terith of the Lucid Eye has explained 2 locations, and then Doric says, yeah, nearby, down the river, we've seen that there are some structures. We're not 100% sure what they are. There's a group of them just next to the river, which makes us think that it's some sort of village, but it could have been various things, I suppose. Also, it's near the sea. It could help us gain vantage of any boats or ships from Erebag or elsewhere coming along the coast. So it's that's an interesting location to head to as well. But we should be getting other teams coming along. I think the proximity of the village probably makes it slightly higher priority, but Terethea tells me that these other 2 locations are just as pressing. And Tereth sort of says, yes, I do feel that all 3 of them are important to the future of this outpost.
Okay, well, that's good
Dwarf
to
kind of
know.
looks around you and he's sort of like, so what do you reckon?
I think the village is a good place to start.
You need to have clear access to the sea.
I
trust my
disagree. I
friends.
feel the resonance of the ruins is most important.
Controlling of the coast would allow ships to come in.
Bring in more people, bring in more equipment, ship stuff back faster as well.
It would make resupply and remanning the area easy.
Understood. I just feel these are pedestrian concerns.
Well, we're on foot.
I shall bow to the decisions
Well put,
of the
Elf.
group.
Look, any of these locations will be useful, but you do make strong points about defense, the sea. Yeah. and
What think you,
proximity.
Mistress Fox?
Oh, I am not tactically minded, so it is closer, so less to walk. And these boots, they are not made for walking.
We can sort you out with some boots if you need
All
some
right.
boots.
No, I will go in my own form. Thank you.
What about you, Ruddy Amazing?
I'm quite interested in these ruins, but we could go like the long way via the village.
Are you not a swashbuckler?
Yeah.
Does the
Then
sea not sing to you?
You want to be on the swash, then?
Well, yeah, but I've done a bit of that, and now I want to do a bit of getting rich.
Well, we have 3 votes for the village, and 3.5 votes for the village, and 1.5 votes for the ruins. So I suppose the decision is made.
Do the ruins next, if that pleases
If you
you.
take enough rations and you think that you can head on to the ruins after the village, then feel free.
Well, we can come back. Let's do the village, clear it out, see what we can see, come back and make another decision from there with more information.
We'll need to report back whatever happens.
Perhaps we will find something in the village that will suggest a new location to us.
Oh, this is very exciting.
But those ruins, they scratch at the back of my mind.
But you are made of solid. What can scratch you?
Ink.
Please don't do that.
Ooh.
Or that.
Okay. Right. Well, so we're going to investigate the village first, right? Very well. Krill, she says, looking over the orc, make a note of it in the outpost records. She sort of looks up. Yes, of course. And she moves aside some kind of metal sheets and some books and some scrolls and some stone stuff, and then pulls out a big leather-bound book and she sort of gets her quill in and starts writing. And she says, "Oh, if you come over here for a moment," she sort of says. "I assume you're all finished with them, Your Honor?" And Dork says, "Well, if you've chosen your first site and location, then excellent. Be about it. We've got much to do here still."
Master Killhaven, what think you of placing a ballista or some kind of ranged weapon in this gap here?
I'm very curious about that there gap. That does look like a sighting gap to me, but does the tower rotate? Because otherwise you just got one very narrow field of view. I like your thinking, though.
It looks like there used to be some machinery in here a long time ago. We had to clear out some broken stanchions and girders, and
so this is an old dwarven tower that you've repurposed for yourself.
Well, yes.
And what happened to everything you cleared out of it?
We have it sort of points randomly. There's a pile of it within the walls. I think it's just behind the tower. We saved it for later in case we could, salvage any of it for defenses or materials.
I'm going to head on over to Quill the orc.
Krilge,
not Krill.
She says, "Could I take your name for the record and all of your?" She kind of gets from one or some of you, all of your names, sort of jotting them all down on the book. Excellent. Yes. There's some trappings requisition form here. She kind of pulls out a piece of paper. If there's anything you feel that you need, you can make a list of it, and if it's in the stores, then we can share it with you. And if it's not, then we can see if we can get it on the next caravan in. Take several days, obviously.
I would imagine for this mission will be fairly quick, but for the journey out to the ruins, perhaps we might need more. Best to requisition our second venture now before heading to the first.
It's a wise thought.
And what supplies do you feel that you would need?
Rations.
Are we talking rations?
Water.
We have road rations.
Rations and water.
Yes.
Do they like us to bring back our findings? In which case we would probably need a wagon.
She sort of pulls out like a little thing. Here's the duty roster contract. It's somewhere in between those two things. This just says that you have lodgings. You'll receive 1 silver per day of your service to Emberwatch Tower, and that anything you find in the holes in the ground or anything you will bring back to the tower, and you'll receive 1 in every 20 coins of its worth.
And what of items that might be located?
I think that hasn't come up yet, but probably on a case-by-case basis. Often these things are best used by someone of a particular skill set. So if there's an obvious synergy there, then we'd probably look to reinforce that. But if it was something that would help the tower itself, then we'd probably want those to be returned.
And the tithe to Ondrum?
The tithe comes standard out of the tower's funds. So it's to be honest, we're beginning here. We're starting this together. So I don't think Doric's going to be as titan-handed as his mother. She's well known to be fairly strict with the purse strings, but he is. I think he's looking to build trust more than rules.
And where might we find you should we need you?
She looks about this desk and she's like, "I'm normally sitting here doing the paperwork."
Always, or do you ever take a night off?
Occasionally, I might have a beer in the barracks.
You're looking for a date? Crystal?
Just trying to get the lay of the land.
Well, I'm the chronicler of this affair and venture. So whenever you return, it would be good if you come and discuss with me all the things that you've found, any information you may gather, any sources of knowledge that you uncover, just so we can gather it all together. I've got, all the old records that we could find. So we're trying to gather a pool of information about this area. So anything you do find, please do let me know. I'm very, very interested.
Of course, and likewise, if any other information comes to light about the region that you feel may point us or give us warnings in a certain direction, please do let us know.
Yes. Well, obviously we've got all the old texts that sort of point to some sort of big mishap a couple of 100 years ago in the area. Really before Eredos and Nolos were their current level. Yes, there's some sort of strange large event seems to have cleared out this area quite quickly. Not overnight, but fairly swiftly. There were no more people in this region, and it was taken back over by nature. And it's really the mystery that we're also here to try and uncover. Now that we've sort of found this mystery, we're curious as to what could have caused this.
Well, what say you, fellows? I know that Rasilka, you wish to stay this evening in a real bed and comfort, and I suspect that Madame Leroux feels the same way. Do we head off now, or do we wait until first light and head off in the morning?
If it's late in the afternoon now, I think
It's sort of early afternoon.
early
sort of like
afternoon.
2
If
o'clock
it's a
in the
day and a
afternoon.
half, we could take that half day now. But
It's
then
not a
we'd
day
be
and a half,
getting
though,
there.
is it? It's only a half day to get to the village.
There's 2 travel activities to get
Oh,
to
was
the
it?
village,
Sorry,
but you're on
my
the
bad.
river.
I
You're on
misread
the
the.
river,
That was
so
the-
map.
that was
so
the
I'll give you
road.
a day and a half.
I thought we could go the roadway round.
Well, I would be eager to get going.
Well, we better keep the Jotun away from the ale, otherwise there won't be no ale left.
Wait,
There
I
is the
don't know
question
what
of
you mean. I'll say taking a big glug of ale from the
diplomacy as well, of course. And I shall look over at the other Jotun quite pointedly.
Jotun diplomacy.
Jotun diplomacy.
That involves a lot of punching, I believe.
Singing and ale.
Singing, stories, giant
Also
stories.
the singing. Yes, we should leave.
I will theatrically sigh, but I'm actually quite all right with that. That's fine.
So you're going to head off straight away.
Yeah.
Looks like we are.
Okay.
After I've
Wow,
got changed
brown nosing much.
again.
Okay, so we're going to go into our hex crawling straight away.
Yeah.
Excellent. So,
No half
no.
measures.
I don't want to spend no time in no buildings.
So I moved the blue hexagon down to the village because you guys are moving in that direction. And I'll open up the forest terrain stat block and show it to
Ooh.
my players.
Pick up some rations on the way out.
Do 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 do
Yeah, so
do
they can give you like a week's worth of trail rations to keep you going. So, as I said, beneath the Glorum overhang, trees are rampant. Colonizers' land with sufficient rainfall and good soil can quickly be taken over by an expanding forest. So it's thick, it's dense. There's this
love it.
Absolutely, it's proper wild forest. There's kind of vines and moss and creepers everywhere. There's big root systems in the ground, and there's a thick canopy over above you, which kind of sometimes to those non-forest dwellers can be a little bit claustrophobic.
Is there rock underneath it?
There is
That's
earth
fine.
and
Far
mud
enough
and
down.
rock. Yeah. Now, because of the canopy, although you can sort of climb trees to have a look around, it's slightly harder to navigate in forests than other locations.
I'm in my element, though.
Sorry?
I am in my element, though.
You are in your element, but you don't have any rangery kind of
No.
funky skills.
No.
However,
Just like cuddling trees.
yeah. Well, who doesn't?
Moss.
If you remember earlier on, I said that the tower is a landmark.
Mhm.
So landmark is a feature that I'm adding to hex crawling. So every landmark has a vision range. So if you notice on the map, you can see 3 hexes away from the tower. That's because it gives you a commanding view of the area. It's similar to mountains. These things are kind of a big thing that you can look out from, and you can kind of see a broad sweep of the land. Now, what it also means is if you're within that vision range, you can see the landmark, and you get a +2 to navigation rolls. And navigation rolls are when you're moving from one hex to another. You have to make a roll to make sure you end up in the right place. Because you're in the wild and in the forest, you may get turned around, you may stumble through, you may take the wrong direction, and that might cause you a problem. However, the one hex you never have to roll to leave or enter is a landmark hex, because the tower is there and it's so close that you can really judge which way you're going. So for this first hex crawl, we won't need to roll to navigate. That's the long and the short of what I was telling you there. But we will need to make an encounter check for heading out into the forest. And the encounter DC is a 14 or more, means it's a flat roll. So someone needs to roll a D20. And if we get a 14 or more, you have an encounter on the way.
Do we have a
Who wants to make that
volunteer?
roll?
Nobody.
I nominate Roger.
I want to be responsible for encounters.
Ah,
You
what do
want
we
to be
do?
Millie, did you say?
No,
But you're the daring do in the.
no.
So Roger's going to roll. is he?
Silka
Alright.
is the daring do.
Alright,
Millie
what
isn't.
None
do
of
I
us
need?
want to be responsible for roles.
let's roll a D20.
Oh, one
Roll a
D20.
D20, okay.
Ooh.
18.
Oh,
Hey,
crap.
we have an encounter.
Oh, good.
So,
Hey, you asked me.
Weapons up. Ray shields, red alert.
you travel
Wrong
for
day, Ben. Wrong day.
you travel for a day and a half through the dense forest, making your way through, occasionally having to carefully chop things out of the way.
Hey,
Trying
you be
to
careful with those there trees.
trying to follow the river as much as you can. You know, where the shape of the land doesn't let you, you kind of track your way back to make sure you're heading in the right direction. But eventually you'll sort of see ahead a series of small walls. It's not time team. You can see sort of walls coming out of the trees, as it were, like old broken structures, and nature has completely taken over it, you know, with vines and moss climbing all over it. And you start to realize you're on the outskirts of said village, or as we actually know it, a shattered district. That's what it's technically called. And as you are heading in that direction, let's have someone roll on the random monster table.
Oh, can I roll that one?
Yeah, to see
What
what
rolling?
creatures you encounter
An
as you
ancient white dragon.
Oh, goody.
Level
No.
D20s again.
level appropriate. So it's just a
No.
20-sided die. Just roll a d20.
I've got an 8.
8. Oh, okay.
Oh, basilisk. Right.
Okay. So as you make your way through the trees, everybody make perception rolls.
Perception.
Can I instead? No.
Can I said not? It's not.
Perception.
21. Wow. My elven eyes.
It's more your ears.
How is the
Jump for the
fox?
17, actually.
What are you doing? What is Renard doing?
She's literally skipping at the moment. She's using her high acrobatic skills to bounce between low-level trees and stuff, and really quite enjoying
Cool.
herself.
Cool.
Boing, boing,
I like it.
boing, boing.
She's back in her fox form, so she's very much enjoying herself right now and kind of springing around a bit. She's definitely not paying attention to what's going on.
Clearly not.
I don't even see
Folks.
perception.
Yeah.
It's
On front
Oh.
page of your sheet,
front page
left-hand
of the
side.
Page on the
sheet, left-hand side.
Mm.
Click the
Underneath
dice
your-
next to perception.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Cool.
Renard's paying
So
attention.
on my random monster
Wow, we're all
table,
paying
I had vinelings, snapping fly traps, hobgoblins, bugbears, giant centipedes, but you didn't roll any of those.
No.
You.
What did we
So
roll?
as you make your way towards these structures, and you think, right, we're within sight of this village. Clip.
Yep.
You're I assume, being the kind of wood elf and out, all out in the trees, you're kind of slightly forward, and Rasilka being sort of brave and foolhardy in
Ruddy
equal measure,
amazing.
I've got
being
plus
ruddy
one to my
amazing.
wisdom, thank you.
Yep. Oh, that's true. That's true. You're kind of aware of what's going on. You kind of and Einar, in fact, Einar, you
Einar's
as well. You
better than
passed.
me.
Einar's quite tall.
So the
think that's
three
what it
of
is.
you all hear coming from the structures ahead of you
I laugh in the
Hello.
face of wisdom.
a low moaning.
Oh no. Do I know what that is?
You can
know
make
what-
occult rolls if you want to see if you
You
can
can-
understand what it
Occult.
is.
Oh, I know what it
Yes.
sounds like. It's
Yes. Say that carefully, Roger.
Occultism.
occultism.
Occultism, that's the one.
Yeah, you have to make a cult roll, which is a charisma check to join a cult.
Or a wisdom check to not.
Okay. Clip and Einar. This sounds like the moaning of the the dead.
Okay, I'm gonna do the fist up thing. Oh, we got this undead.
So what we're going to do is we're going to roll initiative. Now, don't just go crazy and start rolling, because I need to get
Disappointed
you all
now.
onto the right. Onto the right.
Did we bring a cleric?
Oh, but I brought my raccoon.
Okay, now, don't move your
Rancer.
token yet. Can you see your token?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, Mr. Games Master, I can see my
Cool.
Wait, what? Hang on.
Yes.
There should be a map
Oh, yeah, there's me.
of a forest,
Ah,
and we should have, yes,
love
brilliant,
it
it's
when we're all
working.
paying attention.
Shadows.
Yes, we
Yeah.
have shadows. Shadows are cool.
The
I was
shadows are
making
very
a remark about double entendres. Giggity.
cool. Okay, so you
Let
can
me
hear
grab
this.
my massive spear.
It's a very big fort you've got
Rasilka
there.
can't take part in this battle. She's led on the floor laughing.
Don't
That's it.
Now,
worry, Rasilka, I'm going to get my rocks off.
Yeah, just like
oh god, here we go. So in Pathfinder 2, initiative can be done slightly differently, although most of the time it's done on perception, because it is about, being caught unawares.
Mhm.
If you are doing something when combat begins that can reasonably be assigned to, engaging in combat, like stealth, or I'm in a combat with bandits or something. I want to use society to understand their ways, or I'm going to use performance to like do a dance, or or something like that. Most people just use perception for
And
initiative. but if-
athletics for running straight at them.
Sure. I'll let
Roger, can you please shout Ride of the Valkyries
Now-
music as you go?
Now, I have put you in the combat tracker.
Oh, okay.
So the fist over on the right hand side,
And we roll the
see.
dice on there, do we?
and you go onto your character sheet, and where it says initiative, change the skill, and I believe, and then roll the die in the combat tracker, and it
Where
should.
does it say initiative then?
just
It's on the
underneath
front
perception.
page
Underneath
on the
perception.
left. Yeah.
Because I realised
Oh yeah.
I rolled initiative before, not a perception check.
It's often the same.
Yeah.
I did the same.
Clip
Yeah,
will.
because that little box says perception in bigger letters than the perception bit. So
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
I
just
guess I'm
seeing-
rolling it off of perception rather than survival. Is survival okay?
Yeah, I'll let you use survival, understanding the way of the woods, and if something is off.
Doesn't matter. Not
You
actually
know.
an Oh no, there it is. Survival.
My
is
plus
an
7, I
option.
rolled a
Should all be
9.
nice.
Okay, cool. So everyone's initiative filtering in there. So these aren't tree stumps; these are the trees.
Trees.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've just put stumps in so we didn't have big ass trees. There are bushes which will block line of sight, but you can move through them.
Oh, that
Okay.
mushroom fell down.
Can I climb a
And-
tree?
You can climb a tree if you want to climb a tree.
Rather I didn't.
Sorry.
You'd rather I didn't, though.
No,
I
you
get
can
what
do
you're
if you
saying.
want to. No, that's fine. That's fine. And there are walls and rocks and other things that you'll find out in the forest. And obviously
Cool.
you can hear creatures ahead of you, which is to the right on the map.
Oh, okay.
And we begin with Rasilka.
Oh, okay. I was just checking my stuff because I've got
Oh,
some
yeah.
like.
So should we talk about combat briefly?
Yeah, that'd be helpful because I've never done a Pathfinder 2e combat.
There you go. Here we go. So in an encounter, you get 3 actions. Yeah, and you can use those to do certain things. Some of your special abilities or spells will take 1, 2, or 3 actions, depending on what they are. But there's a set of basic actions that you can do that allow you to spend 1 or 2 actions. You also have reactions. So there's basic things like strike, which is where you attack with a weapon you're wielding. You can stride, which is move up to your speed. You can stand up. You can step, which is take a 5 feet step, and you don't trigger a reaction, such as an attack of opportunity or other reactions. So you can step away from someone in combat. You can do things like sense motive, seek, which is like search the area, make a perception roll for your local area. You can ready an action, which takes you 2 actions, where you say, choose a single action you can use and designate a trigger. Your turn then ends. If the trigger occurs before the start of your next turn, you can use the chosen action as a reaction. So basically, it costs 2, but basically you say, right, when someone comes around the corner, I'll shoot them. And then if that happens, you can do that. And I think there's a whole load of stuff in Foundry under the actions section. And there's things like burrow and fly and mount and those kinds of things that we won't need to worry about.
So many.
Attack of opportunity is only available to certain people, like fighters and other warrior martial classes, or monsters. Some monsters get attack of opportunities. A good one is grab an edge. If you get pushed off something, you get a free reaction to grab an edge on something. But that's really what they are. Any abilities you have in your character sheet should have little diamond logos of how many actions it takes to do. Now, the other thing I should point out is that everyone has 1 hero point. And hero points.
Oh, but we've been playing for over an hour, so technically we should probably have 2.
Indeed, you should have 2, but you haven't.
Kind of answer that.
Yeah.
4, 6,
That was
7.
solid. I'll take that.
So hero points, you can spend a hero point to re-roll a check.
But don't, because you need your hero point to be not dead should they kill you.
Or you can spend all of your hero points to avoid death.
Or one of them.
Yes, all.
If you've only got 1, yeah,
However
then
many
it's
that
the
might
1.
be.
But if you've got 5 of them, I think you can go up to 3, can't you? If you've got 3, then it would cost all 3 of them. You've been hoarding them for too long.
Wow. So it is burn them.
Yeah, so there's re-rolls there available. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. But the main thing is you can stride. So the squares are 5 feet squares, like in Dungeons and Dragons. And your movement, I think most of you are 25 feet. Is that true?
I think so.
I'm not.
Oh,
Well,
Um,
it should say in your character sheet.
I'm a
how-
fleet-footed elf.
But it
Oh,
I've
okay.
got 35.
I got,
Ooh.
You got really
got
long
long
legs.
I think
legs.
is
I am
Roger
8
should be
foot tall.
30, shouldn't it?
Oh, I had a thing that I took a feat that gave me extra.
Yeah, but it starts at 25. I had it
Oh, I
at
don't
30
know.
originally, but it was
I was-
25. It should be
Okay,
25.
that was what was on my
Yeah,
sheet.
so
I'll change
30.
it.
So
I
you'll be able to move
can't.
4, 5, or 6 squares with a stride action. You can take 3 strides if you want for your turn and move 3 times.
Wow.
You can move and then attack and then move. If you attack 3 times in a row with strikes on your character sheet under the actions thing, you should see your strikes, and it will say strike plus something depending on how good you are,
Mhm.
and then it will have map, which is multi-attack penalty. If you have if you do 2 attacks, your second attack is at -5. If you do 3 attacks, your third attack is at -10.
Oof.
Yes,
It's
which is
harsh.
pretty harsh. So I think that kind of covers most things, and we'll kind of figure stuff out as we go.
Right.
So
George.
Rosilka.
Yeah, I want to do stuff that's showy and braggedy and gets me panache. However, a couple of the things I can do to just get panache need to be able to see the bastards.
Ah, yeah. Well, they're off there in the forest somewhere.
So
Okay.
I'm gonna go for like, how far away is this wall over here? What would that get me? Is
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12, 13 to get in there behind it.
not behind
You
it,
can-
on it.
Oh, on it. Okay. Right. Yeah. You can do.
Might need a
You can just
boost.
use the arrow keys to move your token.
Oh, okay.
This is amateur hour. This is a swashbuckler we're talking about. They're not going to get
Yeah,
behind
sorry,
the wall.
Sorry.
Why would I go behind the wall?
Can you control it?
Oh, I can't go because the game is paused.
Oh, sorry.
There we
There you
go. 1,
There you
2, 3, 4. Diagonals, do they count as 2?
See what happens. No, it's just 1, I think. I'm not too worried about diagonals. Oh,
I think it only does 1 square at a time.
Yeah,
You
I can't
literally
go-
have to go.
can you not use your number keys?
I'm using the arrows, but I don't have.
Okay.
I don't
so
have that
think you've
kind of
moved-
keyboard.
You've moved 5 squares so far.
5.
Yep.
6,
So that's 1 action you've done, yeah?
7, 8. Oh, I can see a bastard now. 9, 10. So if I go 9, 10 and stop there, and
Mhm.
then these guys aren't going to care if I demoralize them because they're dead.
How many guys can you see now?
I can see 1. Oh, I can see 2 actually.
Can you?
Yeah, I see 1 down on the left, and then 1 straight further up.
Instead of demoralizing them, can you remoralize us?
Let me just check. So what I'm looking at is demoralize.
I don't want no moralizing.
Oh, 1 for all. No, 1 for all doesn't get me panache because I'm a braggart. Chat picked braggart for me, so I need to demoralize.
Make some kind of facetious pun about getting some Bosch on your boot.
You have to make a successful demoralize action,
Yes.
or do they have to take the effect? Because you could pass your demoralize roll, they might be immune to the effect, but you'd still be successful.
As far
It's
as you're
still-
concerned, woof!
Yeah. Yeah. Sunshot will turn. Yeah, I just want to get some like cool shit going on because I want my panache because that gives me like a speed bonus, all kinds of shit, and I'm being cool. So I will run forwards and I can't think of anything cool to shout, but Rasilka can.
Take a pose.
And then
Something cool.
something cool. And I will.
Insert catchphrase here.
Yeah, we'll work this out in post.
Leroy
Love
Jenkins.
Yeah. And the one straight ahead that I can see, like lurking behind a tree, kind of
Okay.
thing, is like fashion's well out of date, mate. or something.
Oh,
Mhm.
cutting words.
Yeah, and then I attempt an intimidation check against the target's will DC.
What I would hope would be low for an undead.
If the target does not understand the language I'm speaking, or I'm not speaking in a language, I am, I take a -4 circumstance penalty to the check.
Oh, that's cool. So only a -4 circumstance penalty, which means the intent of your insult still carries, even in foreign
It's the
languages.
tone.
It's the tone.
Tone.
Yeah.
Its will DC is 12.
All right. So I just click this intimidate button.
All in
Does that work?
bones.
Oh, it does. Ooh. I don't get that because I've not done that yet. Let's just do that. Look at that.
Hey!
Whoa.
Hey,
Okay.
Nice.
your
So-
father was an hamster and your mother smells of elderberries.
That-
So you
That's a
did
critical
your
success,
critical
I believe.
success,
Mm-hmm.
which means you got frightened too. However, it's immune to mental effects.
Yeah, but I just look cool. Can
You
I
look
have
really
panache,
cool. You-
please?
Dance forward, swept your cape out of the way,
Uh-huh.
twiddled your beard, moustache, and gave them some smack talk. So yeah, you can have a point of panache.
Thanks. That's me done.
Okay, cool.
Just run
Right.
forward and shout at people. It's great.
Let's have a look. Who's next? It's not who you might think it is. It's one of my guys.
Uh-oh.
Wow,
So
them some nippy undead.
I think it's more we rolled really badly.
16 on a D20.
Pretty
That's
good.
not
Okay,
bad.
actually, yeah, 16's pretty good.
okay,
I got a bead on that one.
can you see that dude?
Yeah.
Some of you can't
I
you?
can see
I can
a
see him.
dude. There's
Okay,
one to the
okay.
south of
Okay.
Rasilka.
Right. Next is Crystal.
Come on, Rockhead. What? It's a term of endearment.
Oh, okay.
Can't currently see Rasilka, but you can hear her.
Yeah, she's still quiet.
But also you're like doing your shouting and
Yeah, imagine
you
you're
know,
still
Right, okay, so I
going.
move forward 5. That's
Yep.
one move, isn't it?
if your move is 25 feet, yes.
Yeah. I still can't see anything.
These crafty buggers in the trees. What's going on?
Yeah, then some crafty undead. So I guess
Die in formation, unfortunately.
under the circumstances, that what I'll do is I'll just
Well, you
hold the
spread out.
remaining
Why don't
2
you all spread out
actions.
in different directions?
Yes.
I'm gonna hold the remaining 2 actions,
Are you going? Okay, you're going
but
to.
my Eidolon can manifest because it does that without me. It doesn't need my actions to do that, does it?
I need a thing for your Eidolon, don't I? Hang on.
I'm not going to keep it far away from me. So this rocky, I stomp on the ground, and this rocky serpent kind of pops up out of the ground and starts coiling around. I'm going full on Toph Beifong earthbending magic style.
Okay, hang on. Bear with me
Some of
one
those
second.
words.
I will get a. I forgot about your Eidolon. So it's
Oh,
a
don't
blank
worry about
character sheet at the moment, and we'll sort that out at another time. I won't give a different initiative because I think it acts at the same time as you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
And you can control that now. You should be able to. But we have that for now as your little Eidolon. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So that's your. You're waiting there. Are you going to ready
'Cause
something?
now I can't control me, apparently.
What? Don't be silly.
Oh, really? I vanished.
Oh no,
You're
it
still
says you're-
there.
Says you're the owner of you.
Oh, there I am. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm back.
You found yourself.
Yeah,
You're like
Wow.
patting yourself down. I am here.
I am here.
Um,
Whoa.
real?
This has been something.
Is this
Summoner
real?
magic is weird.
You real?
Okay. Did
Oh,
you
my
want to
character
ready
sheet's
something?
closed itself.
Are you going to ready something, or are you just not spending those 2 actions?
Well, I was going to spend those 2 actions on a spell,
But you can't see anyone.
but I can't see anyone.
Yeah.
So can I ready a spell to throw at someone if I see them?
Let's have a look. Choose a single action or free action you can use. No, unfortunately not. It has to be a single action.
Boo.
So you could ready, like, have you got anything that you throw at people or crossbow or something?
Cutting words.
That's my go.
That's your thing. I know.
Yeah.
You can try.
Okay, I'm
Well,
guessing
in that
not.
case, I will just boost and reinforce my Eidolon with my remaining
Yeah.
2 actions.
Okay, cool.
So my Eidolon gains a +2 status bonus to damage.
Mhm.
And its AC goes up as well.
Okay. Well, you should be able to see its character sheet. So if you want to change it in there, then that's cool. And we will move on to Clip. Clip. You can hear these noises. Can you see anyone?
I can see one.
Okay.
I can see one to that tree just to the south of Rasilka.
Mhm.
I'm going to draw my long rifle, lovingly stroke the barrel, place my forked bipod, and take myself a pot shot at some undead.
Okie dokie.
Is the theory anyway. This is where it all goes horribly, horribly
Fistfire explosion.
wrong. Probably.
Love it.
Da, 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 da,
Here we go.
da.
So you can target them, I think. So you can
Huh?
actually target if you go and select the little select target symbol on the left control.
Select target symbol.
It looks like an archery target.
All right, gotcha.
Yep. And then you select the
I have selected a target,
cool. And then you do your strike with your weapon.
and then I will do my strike with my weapon.
It should calculate it, I think.
And I will miss spectacularly. Probably.
No,
No? Really?
no, you hit by +0.
Wow.
Yeah. Harmona gun. Okay.
Very long rifle.
Right. So
And then I need to roll damage.
yes.
And I get special extra damage from my first shot. So I get that. And then I should get plus 1d6 precision
kind of-
damage.
What kind of a 1d6 precision?
Yep.
Oh.
I
Go
have
for it.
a feat called one shot, one kill. My first shot is the deadliest.
Oof.
Oh. Okay, so bear with me 1 second. Just going to check his resistances.
Hopefully not to get shot.
No. So I think you click on the damage symbol for both of those, and it'll apply the damage to the.
Oh,
Oh,
I
right.
get damaged.
Oh no,
You shot
Clip.
yourself?
I'd rather
Okay,
not.
we'll change your hit points.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Told you
Oh.
those things are dangerous.
How
How
about I damage the zombie for you?
That's strange.
Okay, so you did 11 points of damage.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
There is this kaboom.
Okay.
Is
Smoke
that
comes
your
out the rifle.
boomstick?
That is my boomstick. And then I'm going to duck into cover and I'm going to reload.
Okay. You're going to duck into cover and reload. Cool. So that's your turn. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So next it's me again.
Oh, there's another one of the bastards.
Oh, but I can actually see one now.
3, 4. One comes shambling through the trees and the foliage, pushing past branches, and sort of. And as it approaches, you can see this creature used to be a hobgoblin. As it comes forward, unfortunately, it only gets 2 actions around because it's a zombie. Right, next up, we have I'm hiding behind a tree zombie.
Stealth ambush zombies.
filth zombie.
Oh, there's only regret in your lives from now on,
5.
zombie minions.
Okay. And then it can start to understand that there are other people around, but it sees someone and it's just like,
Eat you first, love.
yeah.
You look tasty.
Right, next is Ina.
I forget.
Da, 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 da.
Boom,
Right,
boom,
how far
boom,
do I
boom,
move a
boom,
single
boom,
action
boom.
at the speed of 30?
6 squares. Now check your paladin abilities because you may have something that's like,
Oh,
Not unless he's tied up. The Liberator powers are like all freedom of movement based.
oh,
So
okay,
it's if stuff tries to stop you from moving, you go, I'm ignoring that.
okay. And I think he can help. I mean, in this situation, he could probably help Rasilka get
Yeah.
free, couldn't he? Kind of thing. But I'm assuming you just want to move up next to Rasilka and smack one of the undead creatures.
I mean, the general plan was to run up and shove a rather large spear through one of them, but we'll see what
Go for it.
happens.
Go for it.
Sounds good.
Certainly get there.
Okay,
Just
so
a kind of
one,
question of which side of it you want to go on.
that one.
Yep,
And
that's
then
fine.
I will try and shank a zombie.
And stabulate.
Target.
On my fork.
If targeting doesn't work, just roll and we can.
I think I've done it,
Okay,
but we'll wait and see.
sure. Oh, okay. So you hit by 8, so not quite enough to generate a critical, but you have definitely hit. So you step up and with your big ranseur, 2-handed forked spear, punch it in the guts. Now,
Not sound effects.
D12 plus 4, 7 points of damage.
That well-known
Okay.
and realistic sound effect for stabbing someone in the gut.
It's a zombie. Who
It's
knows
a
what they
zombie.
sound like?
It's like trapped gas and stuff, and it all
Yeah.
comes like out, doesn't it? Okay, so you do 7 points of damage to this zombie shambler. Here we go. Okay, so 13. Okay, cool. Looks injured. Some of its body is sloughing off onto the floor. And it's sort of it's groaning, intensifies momentarily, but then it kind of carries on back to the
I think you find it's pronounced slough.
sloughing off.
Sloughing. Yeah.
Okay, it's me again. Mm. There's a bunch of them, and they can all hear this noise going on. So they're like, "Oh,
Hitting
what's
a
going on
bell.
there?" And then next it's LaRue.
LaRue's currently holding her ears because a massive boom went off nearby, and being a fox, it's a little bit sensitive. She has no idea what's going on. She's never been involved in anything like this. So she saw Rasilka run off and shout some insults at people. So she doesn't know what a zombie sounds like. She just sounds like thinks there's loads of people running. So she's going to run forward a little bit.
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So she can actually see what's going on.
Yep.
And then she's horrified that there are zombies attacking.
Seriously, though, we need to get Dan some fox ears for that headset. Just little
Absolutely.
clip-on ones.
Isn't there a zoom feature where you can put?
Yeah.
Yes, there's like probably a cute fox zoom feature that I can do right now, but
200%.
and then she's gonna be like, oh dear. What's my range on guidance?
Here you go. In chat, double right click on a token works too for targeting. There you go. So what are you up to then?
So LaRue's going to move just behind here, and then she's going to cast guidance on as a cantrip, and she's just going to cast guidance on Rasilka. She's going to give her a +1 status bonus to 1 attack roll, perception roll, or saving roll, or skill check.
Cool.
There you go. That's what she's done. So I think it was 1 action plus her 2 move actions.
Yep.
There you go, Rasilka, because we are going to be best friends after all.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also,
Absolutely.
LaRue has no idea how to do combat, so she's like, magic.
Magic, you do it.
Magic.
Okay.
Excellent.
Bear with me.
Oh, hello. That one's mine.
Nope. Definitely
That
staying
one.
at the back.
That's that one.
Sounds kind
there
of
we
like
go.
dudes coming out of a club late at night and going on the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, zombies.
One of the other
Yeah.
zombies is going to stop us when we stab him and go, but I love them.
Right, mate. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Don't stab them. I love
darling.
them.
Okay, you can hear now this kind of growing noise of these zombies shambling through the trees ahead of you. And you can hear where they're kind of smacking branches and pushing through bushes and things. And it seems that they are coming from all across this kind of area in front of you. You're also starting to see in amongst the trees, the walls and structures, kind of the very edge of this shattered district. There seems to be some sort of large statue in the area as well. So it's kind of, you can see that there's something developing here. You know, something, you're on the edge of something.
I'm regretting the fact I have not made any alchemist fire.
Oh, right. We go back round to the beginning of the round and Rasilka,
All right.
the dwarf and the Jotun in hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
Yay!
I'm going to try and stab a zombie.
Cool.
Heroes do.
And I have a +1 from the guidance from LaRue. So
You got your panache as well.
I've got a box to tick for panache, so it should automatically do that for me, I think. If I add that, modifier value must not be 0. Okay, +1. That done it? Add, yeah.
Figuring
Roll.
out Foundry as we go as well. Okay. So that is a hit.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
I
you
didn't
hit them.
target them. That's my error.
That's okay.
I
Don't
was
worry.
the dude right in front. That's the one. Or
Yes. Yeah, it's not a problem.
so, how do I do the damage?
He makes
There
that noise and
there
then
should
they're damaged.
be a button next to whatever the strike was that says damage.
Oh, it does. Yeah, there. 6. Yeah, so it's got my precise strike in it already. So I do 6 points of stab.
Oh, cool.
Stab.
Okay.
Who doesn't
Okay.
like stab damage?
That's piercing damage. Shpoomph. Like,
Your blade goes through its body and you puncture one of its old rotten organs, and like a squirt of necrotic juice kind of flies out of its back, luckily.
does it hit Simon?
Somehow
Somewhere.
it still hits
Somewhere.
Simon.
Somewhere it does.
Somehow it's still.
I still haven't picked who's going to get covered in all the gore in this one. I think it might be LaRue.
Oh,
But there's kind of like a, like a gunshot wound, but like a you kind of puncture this organ and
She's an Arctic fox. That's gonna look awful.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that to you, Dan.
All right, so that was one action. It's an action to raise. I've got like a buckler.
Raise
Yep,
shield.
you can
So-
raise your shield. What one good thing to remember,
I was
right?
told you couldn't raise shields.
What? Why not?
I was told it was the wrong game.
Oh,
Forward shields,
forward
rear
shield.
shields.
No.
You remember, right? If you're in close combat with them,
Yeah.
they will get to strike you straight away.
If I raise my
off.
shield.
If you raise your shield, that's one action.
Mhm.
So your armor class should go up.
Okay.
And sometimes it can be useful to do something like step back.
Well, my other action, I was gonna you do one for all.
Okay, cool.
Which
Yeah, do it.
will I designate an ally within within 30 feet. This action counts as sufficient preparation to aid that ally.
Ooh.
When I use the aid reaction to help them, I can roll a diplomacy check in place of my usual check, and then they get the bonus for the aid.
Okay, cool.
So I was going to do that, but it like put my shield up and go, see, look, you have to stab them to
Yeah. So basically,
One for
you can be
all
like a
and
distracting.
all for one. Musket hounds are always ready.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I was thinking one for all and all for one. Anyway, you make a roll, and depending on how well you roll,
Mhm.
they get a bonus to their attack.
Yeah.
So I assume you can do this on Einar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I get a success, they get a +1. If I get a critical success, they get a +2. However, if I fail, I'm just
They get a -1.
yeah -1.
Because you get in the way or
I get in the
annoy
way or something.
Einar.
Yeah. So I'm gonna
Power ballad irritates them.
yeah, I'm gonna raise my shield. And
I do like the degrees of success though that you get on these things.
Oh,
One of the things I like about Pathfinder 2nd edition is that you know there's different states rather than just it happens or nothing happens.
Foundry unfortunately thinks I'm Gahanath, who doesn't use a shield, so it's
Really?
telling me off for trying to equip a shield.
Oh, let me where's that character? Hang on. So I've got all the characters in here, you see. Let me it shouldn't be. Does that make a difference? Maybe I can.
No, it's still
Can
telling me
I
I'm.
raise Can I raise it for you?
Well, that's good news because at least it means I can
There you
use
go. I think I
Lilith
raised the shield
armor
for you.
class there.
All right, cool.
There you go. So I think you're at 18 armor class now.
So I raise my little shieldy bit and then shout at Einar, look, you just have to like stab him in the bits. In a get stuck in.
You shout that as the 8-foot Jotun withdraws a rancer from the dripping body of a zombie.
Yeah, you just have to stab him in the bits.
Love it. Love it. Cool. Okay. So
And
is
that's
that
me
all
done.
your actions?
Yeah, that's
okay.
me
So
done.
next is this other zombie shambler over here near Einar. It's going to step up here.
That the one with the big hole in it.
Yeah, it's got a massive hole in it. And it's like, but there's fighting going on right in front of it. So it's drawn to it. And it's going to make a strike on zombie shambler is going to try, target there, and then character sheet for the zombie, and it's just reaching out to punch, like claw at Einar.
Thank you, Heavy and the gang, for raiding.
Oh, hey, welcome, Heavy. Thank you very much for raiding. We're in the middle of some Pathfinder 2e. They're traveling through the forest. They've come across some zombies who are attacking them.
Damn
So
zombies.
was that was good enough to hit Einar by 1. So that's good. Excellent. So I will now roll damage. Oh, max damage.
Gonna feel that.
Okay.
In the
Cool.
kidneys.
The monster
Oh.
automatically grabs the target until the end of the monster's next turn. The creature is grabbed by whichever body part the monster attacked with, and that body part can't be used to strike creatures until the grab is ended. Using grab extends the duration of the monster's grab until, I think it's just grabbed you.
Hmm.
So next turn, basically what it can do is if it grabs you, the next turn it can try and bite you.
Well, we don't
But you
want
can
that,
just-
do we?
You can just stick them with a big spear. So that's fine. How do we untarget? That's what I want to know.
Click off. I think.
There we go. Got it. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so that was that one. Then next it's Crystal.
I'm gonna move.
Oh, zombie should spend an action to grab. Okay. Doesn't have an action, so it doesn't grab Einar.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Okay,
Crystal now.
where are you moving, Crystal?
I've just moved, but then I've lost Crystal again
Oh, so
by
have I,
moving
actually.
my Eidolon to follow. Every time I touch the Eidolon, it gets rid of Crystal for me.
You need to stop touching your Eidolon.
Hey, there we go. Got Crystal back. Right, so I've moved, and then I am going to, or Crystal is going to. I'm not. I wish
Did
I
you move?
could.
How far did you move?
I moved 5 spaces.
Okay.
And Crystal is going to cast Pummeling Rubble.
Oh, crap.
Kablamo. So,
Who are you targeting with pummeling
Yeah,
rubble?
that's what I'm wondering.
this top zombie up
Okay,
here.
by the
I'm
wall.
not shooting into combat. That would be silly. So that top zombie has to make a DC 17 reflex save
Oh, reflex
Oh.
save.
Blimey.
and take 2d4 bludgeoning
For a
damage.
zombie.
Oh, you jammy so-and-so.
Wow. What did you roll? That's so good.
So what, do
Still
I take
takes
half?
2d4 bludgeoning. Oh, no. Is that a critical success? No. Is it a
No.
success?
It's a success.
Right. So you take 1d4 bludgeoning damage, or half of that. Yeah.
Okay,
in your
4.
face. 4 points of bludgeoning damage, sunshine.
Okay. Cool. 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
I love the fact that my character
As
can't
I
see any
stamp
of
on the
this.
ground, rip up a load of rocks from the ground, spin around, and then cast them directly into the zombie's face.
Awesome. Awesome.
Through some
And you
purple
see
Looks
that this
cool,
creature
is
like
ineffectual.
get hit by lots of very small bits of mud.
No, these are rocks. This is the level 1 spell.
Definitely wrong.
The gravel spell is the cantrip.
Ah, yes. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Okay,
Couple of pointy
cool.
ones and a
So that
bag
was
of
your
gravel.
go. Yep. Here we go. Let's go on to the next one. Clip.
I'm gonna shoot me some zombies. I'm gonna shoot the one
Okay.
to the south of Einar.
Okay.
So let's have a good go on that.
Yes.
Oh, that's definitely.
Oh, that is a critical
lot
hit.
of a hit.
That is a lot of a hit.
He's going to feel that.
Awesome.
Right. I don't get my groovy +6, but I do get. Oh,
Oh.
that's just trash.
How is that trash?
What happened there?
It's
Did you
only
roll?
10. I roll. I
rolled a
push the
4.
critical button.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just like curious how you got 10 out of 2 times 1d10 plus 1.
Because I get the +1 for my singular expertise.
No, I mean, it just felt like you rolled low. Sorry. That's
Yeah, no, I did. That's why
Oh,
I
I
said
see what you
that's
mean. It's,
trash.
that's already doubled. That is
yes,
trash.
Okay,
that's trash.
So,
rolled a
which gun are you
4.
using for this?
This is the Harmonia.
Is this your hand cannon?
No, this is the
Oh,
long
this-
rifle.
This is the long rifle. Okay. So I know you're kind of adjusting to like this other zombie coming in and punching you. And then suddenly the side of its head explodes, showering the other zombie next to you in viscera and gore and a whole rotten brain. And that zombie is dead.
Tip my hat. I'm going to reload my rifle, and I'm going to have a shot at the one up the top that no one seems to be bothering with.
You noticed that one?
Yeah,
Oh,
I noticed that one. Yeah, I can see that one. So I'm going with me map -5, but what the hell? Let's take a
Mhm.
shot.
you're pretty good at this, aren't you?
That's a hit.
Oh, critical
That's
hit.
another critical, isn't it? Let's see if I can do better this time around.
Wow.
That's
Yes.
better. That's
Okay.
more what we're looking
So now
for.
you're getting the lay of the land. You
Getting
haven't
in
used
the
your gun in a few
swing.
days. You know, that kind of thing. You turn around, reload as you're turning. Bring the gun up, and a zombie pops its head around the thing, and you blow its head off, killing
That's 2.
it.
How you fellas doing?
Suddenly, the march of the zombies doesn't seem so worrying, does it? Okay, cool. Clip.
I'm still staying at
right.
the back.
Next, it's the other zombie in front of Einar, and it is going to attack Einar. Here we go. Right, it's going to go for a punch. Let's get this. Here we go. Ready, Roger? Oh, that's a hit.
Yeah.
And it's going to do 4 points of damage. Not too bad. And
That's
it's
a
going
backup
to
character, Rog?
use.
I'll need one in a second.
It's going to
Halfling bard, you
use
say?
grab. You're held in place by another creature, giving you the flat-footed and immobilized conditions.
Don't worry,
If
I'll
you
pick 'em
attempt
off.
a manipulate action while grabbed, you must succeed at a DC 5 flat check or it is lost. Roll the check after spending the action, but before. So if you're trying to manipulate something like an object or something, because they're grabbing you, they can stop you.
Oh, I thought you meant like manipulate, as in, why don't you let me go?
I
I
don't
am not
think
the Jotun you're looking for.
These aren't the Einars you're looking for.
Here we go. Okay. No, manipulate's like a keyword on different types of actions, I think.
Basically trying
Okay,
to do anything
So it's
complex.
grabbed you, Einar. So in the next turn, now it's grabbed you. You can see it's like opening up its mouth with these dirty, horrible teeth, like loosely collected in its mouth, going. "Ah," it's coming in to like try and chew on your flesh.
That's unpleasant.
Cool.
Serves you right for having tasty, tasty flesh.
And then the other one next to Rasilka is next. And that one is going to
no.
try and do the same thing to Rasilka. So
I'm wearing my
let's-
dueling cape.
target.
It just makes you
Let's-
more tasty.
What the
target Rasilka
face?
and
That
let's
well-known
strike.
war cry.
Here
That
we
dwarven
go.
war cry.
Oh, the
Gosh.
face! Oh, the
Not the
face!
face,
I'm
not
on
the
it tonight.
face.
Look at that.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
So that's a hit.
Yeah, it
shield's not
is.
helping there.
And that
No,
is
it's not.
whoa,
Ooh.
8 damage. Blimey.
I think it's
And
all on
you
Lady
are-
Renard to
you
save the
are
day
now
now.
grabbed. So the
The
second
second party arrives at the watchtower.
They meet an elf with a big
Don't worry.
gun.
Don't worry. Right. Yeah, the patron party will have to come and rescue you. They would love that. Right,
Don't be
Einar,
fan. Don't you
over
worry.
to you.
Okay. So the one that's grabbed me, is there a way I can like just push him off?
Crush its skull.
Stab it in the face.
Ooh.
Okay, that sounds like a great plan. Let's go for
Let me see.
plan
Let me
A.
just check what
the
immobilized
face.
means. 1 second.
12.
1 second. Hang on. I can check from here. This is what I love about Foundry. You can go in and click on the links. You can't use any action with the move trait. If you're immobilized by something holding you in place, an external force will move you out of your space. The force must succeed at a check against either DC the effect or the relevant defense of the monster holding you in place. Okay, so you just can't move,
You can still hit them.
but you can still hit them.
Oh,
Excellent.
can I spend my reaction to aid you?
Yes.
All right. Quickly, let me make a diplomacy roll.
Yeah. This might get you
Trigger
that
roll.
nice bonus. Because the good thing about giving
Say,
other
old chap,
people,
have you considered chinning him?
Yeah.
the good thing about circumstance bonuses, it helps you get closer to that plus 10 critical.
Mm.
It's not just on a natural 20.
All right. So, yeah, diplomacy roll. Oh no, I don't want to change that. Roll. No.
Oh, do you want to use your hero point?
Yeah. Because I think that's a yeah. Try again.
Yep.
No, I don't think that's a pass either. Is it? Where's my thing? The typical DC is 20, but the GM might adjust this DC for a particularly hard or easy task.
It's not a critical failure then if it's 20.
Yeah. I think that is a failure, unfortunately.
So I'm
Yeah.
like with my shield up, and I'm like stab it, stab
Yeah,
it.
but it's like grabbed you as well. So you're
Stab
like,
it in
it's
the
like you're like
soft
both
bits.
grabbed.
Stab it.
Told ya.
Unfortunately, that means if it is a critical failure, that's a -1.
It's not. It's
But
not
it's
a critical
not. Oh,
failure.
good.
It's just a failure.
Oh, phew.
It would have
Yeah.
been.
Cool. All right. That's plan A then.
Uh,
Hit in the face.
Stabbing or shove is also an available action.
Hey!
Oh, but that will do.
Oh, nearly a critical. Look at that. Nice. That is a hit.
Oh, I just realised I rolled on the wrong thing, but the
Boom.
same. I rolled
Oh,
unarmed attack.
unarmed attack. Yeah. Is it the same bonus?
Yeah, still plus
Okay.
7.
Okay, right. So roll damage for the right weapon.
Oh,
Oh man, you rolled a 1. Okay, so that's plus 5 damage. Okay, it is. Yeah, you're puncturing holes in it, and horrible fluids are leaking out onto the floor.
See, this is the downside
You
to
can
role
have
playing is
another
that
go.
sometimes your first level character gets their ass handed to them by the monsters because of the dice roll.
We're not
That is a hit.
dead.
No,
Yet.
you're not dead. You're not dead. Another. Oh, what's going on with your damage rolls?
D12.
Do you want to use a hero point
Yeah.
to re-roll that?
I've rolled, I think, 2
is
and
quite
2 ones
extraordinary.
for my
Yeah.
damages on my
Yeah, you
D12s.
have.
How often do you get to use your hero point?
You get one every hour you play.
Okay.
We're due one in 7
I
minutes.
will go for
Yeah.
it because I've rolled a lot of ones.
Ben's keeping track.
Next week, do I have like
Hey.
a hero point counter?
Hey.
Is that what I try and get us?
That one's dead. Mm.
Okay, you
Need
plunger
to
it
count down, Millie.
and you crush it into the ground, and it folds in half. Your
Still got
boots
one
do
action.
get dirty this time.
Can you shove the other one?
I've got liberating step.
Oh.
Oh, what does
I
it do?
So
think
instead of
liberating
taking a
step
step
just
at the
means
end of
So read
that's
it, Veg.
you getting out of being tied
you,
up and
you
stuff.
free an
isn't it?
ally from restraint.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
If the trigger was an ally taking damage, oh no, so that's them gaining resistance. So someone has been. Oh no, it's not Millie next to me, is it?
Yeah.
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 Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so someone's been grabbed within 15 feet of me.
There you go.
Blah blah blah. So the
Dan's
ally can
within
attempt to
15
break
feet of
free of
you.
restraining, immobilizing, or paralyzing. They either attempt a new save against one such thing. Yeah, so I think I allow them to do a free try and break out action, I think. If I'm reading that right.
Well, the irony of me trying to help you, failing, and then being helped in return.
That's teamwork.
It is
That
teamwork,
is.
and I will ignore my failures completely because I'm a braggart.
Yes, you need to tell the right story.
What's your
Don't let the
favourite
facts
dish?
get in the way.
Okay, it's against the athletics DC of the creature grabbing you.
Well, that's a good sign.
Is it a jock zombie? That's what we need to know.
I hope not.
This is where I restrain myself from doing a Scottish accent.
I don't know. It's been saying, bro. It might be trying to say, bro.
Bro, whoa.
15.
It's like a lot.
So I just need to step away for a moment.
Okay. Talk amongst ourselves.
I think if I'm reading that right, then Millie, you get a chance to break out.
Here's my bicycle. Gone.
So what does the Elidion? What's it? How do you say that word?
Eidolon.
Eidolon. What
Yeah.
is it? It's like this weird
It's
bit of
like
rock turned up or
a
something?
a spirit slash.
It's a rock familiar.
Well, it's a spirit. It's like a familiar that manifests physically, but it is the source of all of my powers.
Right.
So, in order to gain access to anything, effectively, the spirit comes from elsewhere and delivers my powers to me. But I also have access to the spirit itself. So instead of learning spells from a book or getting them from my bloodline or anything like that, I need to just chill with my rocky snake and be like, "Hey, dude, how's it going?" And Snake's like, "Yeah, chill."
Chill. Rock's cool.
And then I get my spells by like hanging with a snake made out of rocks.
Cool. Cool.
But it can also attack and defend on my behalf.
Mm-hmm.
On my go. It has its own actions as well.
Oh, right.
But if it takes damage, I take damage.
Right.
If it dies, I die.
Oh.
Yeah.
Note to self: don't stab rock snake.
Please don't stab the rocky snake.
Okay.
I
Rocky.
think you'll be all right if I do it. I'll roll minimum damage.
Yeah, that's true. So far. But so did I, for what it's worth.
I'll help
I
Einar.
summoned like the power of rocks, ripped the ground asunder, summoned stones from within the earth itself, and cast them into the face of the zombie. And it went dunk, ow.
Hey, you rolled maximum. You rolled literally as well as you could have done.
Not on the smash him in the face with rocks, because unfortunately the zombies roll on that.
Yeah, the zombie rolled well, but you rolled well.
If the zombie had rolled badly on that, they'd have been fired back 10 feet, put in rocky terrain. Oh.
Oh.
Something funky just happened.
Oh. Is it still happening?
Is everybody else's Twitch and
What?
No, mine
Forge
seems okay.
working?
Yeah,
Yeah.
looks all right.
No, it's probably just my computer shitting the bed.
Hate that phrase.
You need to train it out of that.
Yeah. To grow up a bit.
Well, apparently it's got the most RAM I can get for it. I
Oh.
can get a bigger hard drive, but I can't get any more RAM for it.
Oh, well.
It has 3 RAMs.
No, it's got like 8 gig of RAM.
What?
Hello.
That's
It's because he's literally ramming like RAMs into it.
very
Apologies.
small rams.
I needed to step away and have a bit of a cough there. Right,
Absolutely fine.
where were we?
Some sort
Getting
of.
our
All
asses
the
handed to us
zombies
by
laid
zombies.
down and surrendered
Yeah.
and told us where all the treasure was.
I wish. I think I'm
What?
trying to escape from being bitten because Einar
Yeah.
did a feat,
Yep.
did
Mhm.
a special action.
Yep.
Do I need to roll something, or does
Yes.
Einar roll something?
You need to make a athletics check
Oh, okay.
against DC 15, I believe.
Now it can't be acrobatics. No, has to be athletics.
It's fine. Dan's still got to go, and Dan's going to rescue us all.
Well, if you're going to do it with flair,
Yeah, of
then
course I am. I'm gonna
maybe-
just like
Or
do
you
that
can kind
thing
of
where you
backflip your way out of it.
swing one of my legs over its arm and like flip around and
It-
do a roll and all that kind
Oh,
of.
you're going to
Go
Black
for it.
Widow this.
Go
Yeah,
for it.
Black Widow
I
Dwarf.
want to see a proper 3-point landing with head flick.
Yeah, of course. This is a 14.
Oh.
No, I just sort of get my cape dirty,
Oh.
flail about a bit.
Oh,
Yelena
fuck.
Belova in the Black
Oh.
Widow movie, when she does the hero 3-point landing, goes, "No, this is silly and ridiculous. I don't like it."
No, what I say is like
Yeah.
it would have worked if it was a dwarf zombie. The proportions are all wrong.
Hey, you start to do a cartwheel, but it's got your cape.
Yeah, proportions are all wrong here.
There's
If
a
this
reason
was
we
made,
don't
on
have
the
capes.
wrong size zombies.
if this was made, this was a proper combat with real combatants, proper dwarves, that would have worked. It would look great. It's just too long and and just covered in dirt. I'm really upset.
Oh, the price of being first level characters.
Okay, so that was Einar's go,
Fine.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So now we've got.
More zombies.
Dan,
gotta
he's our
reload.
man. If he can't save us, we're all fucking doomed.
Then it's LaRue's go. You know, you can like move away.
Run away.
No, and I don't mean like run away. I mean like
5 foot
if you
step.
did a step
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then 2 strides, it wouldn't be able to reach you in its turn.
LaRue, cast explode zombies.
Zombies are-
You joke. You joke.
Here
But
we go.
But-
Explodey zombie.
Come on.
I was hoping that more of them would get closer by now, but it would appear that my allies are also look very injured. So LaRue is going to spend all 3 actions to cast Heal, which makes it a 30-foot emanation. But because I have Widen Spell, it becomes a 40-foot emanation,
Mhm.
and it's 1d8 plus 8 healing. But it also does that damage to undead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow,
Did you
So
say
I
a
should
40-foot emanation from you?
Yes, a 40-foot emanation from me. It takes all 3 actions. I don't know how many of it. So it's all of those 3 zombies and heals everybody in that bubble. So I shall
Okay,
roll.
that
I
is
shall.
Awesome.
I shall roll. I shall roll the hero.
Oracles are freaking.
Oh my
I'm
god.
going to use my hero. to re-roll
Didn't
that,
you say 1d8 plus 3
it's 1d8 plus 8.
plus 8?
Yes.
But
I'm
that
gonna
would
I'm
be
gonna use my
nine.
hero point to re-roll that.
You're
Okay.
still
One of
I'd
your
still roll
hero
a one.
points because we just got the second one.
Welcome to the club, Dan.
So my
What's going on?
my allies heal
That's
9 points, and all
special.
those 3 zombies in the bubble take 9 damage.
Oh my god.
That is my spell cast.
That's cool.
So
One
she's
spell,
like
very
she's
that's
like,
it. You're done.
and a big old healing bubble goes outwards, and
Like
the zombies actually get
snowflakes and
Positive
shit.
energy burst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically,
Nice.
like heals. You guys sort of see it coming, and you're like, and it radiates over you, and you feel warmth, and then you sort of see it like frazzle and burn and tear apart the zombies.
That wooden xylophone noise, and then like a rush of cherry blossom petals flying past to the side.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
And that's
Okay.
LaRue's reactions.
Wow. Epic.
Excellent. That
Very good.
was fantastic.
It
Just
might
at
be
the right
more
time
epic
as
if I
well.
rolled better than 1, though.
Hey, but, you know, better than nothing. That zombie
One
didn't like
better
what you
than
just
nothing,
did. He's going to come in. Oh, I'm on measuring tape. No, I don't want to do that. I want to do this.
Oh no.
Oh.
It's kind of falling apart as it's coming.
Sunshine, you don't want to do that.
This one can just see one person through the gap in the walls.
I can't.
And then this one can't actually. What can it see? Not a lot. It's going to go round. End up about over there. Is that all of them? Yeah, that's all of them. Okay. Now it's 25 to 12. And we're back around to the beginning of a round of combat. Do we want to break there, or do we want to have another round of combat and then call it a night?
I think another round of combat
One
might
more.
just do the job.
Yeah, one more. Okay.
One more.
very cool.
All right.
More zombies. Huh?
Silka.
All right. So
You're
gonna-
still grabbed.
I'm still grabbed.
Mhm.
I'm gonna stab this zombie in front of me. Hopefully.
Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Give it a pokey.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There we go. I targeted this time.
Cool.
Do it.
Do it. You
Um,
do it. You do it.
do it.
Yeah, you did it.
Yay! All right. Now I press the damage button. I hope for the
Yep.
best.
Yay!
Look at that.
Yay.
It is dead.
And then I'm gonna like try and reach over my head with my multi-attack bonus and
Yep.
help my friend stab that one behind me. Can I do that? Is that
Yeah, of course. So you like do a pivot or a twirl or some sort of
Continue to
pas de
swish
bourrée or
round.
something.
Continue to flop about on the floor. Back at its calves or something.
Like a drugged seal.
Yeah, absolutely.
A flawless pas de deux.
Yeah. See, look. That's a hit, right?
Yeah, that's a
That
hit.
is a hit. A fine hit.
And then I do 4 points of damage to it.
Oh, it's
It's
not
good.
enough, but it's severely injured.
And
You
then
can see that much.
I'll say to LaRue, because -10 sounds too bad. I will say to LaRue some bolster. Like I saved this one for you. Stab it in the face.
Go for the eyes, boo.
Go for the eyes, LaRue. Which is my one for all. So when I will attempt a diplomacy roll later
Oh,
on.
God.
When
Will do.
Nah.
but that's me done.
Okie dokie, right. Well, now you've been chopping those early zombies up. Your
Early zombies.
orders.
The second round come through.
Yeah, so Crystal.
The bigger ones.
Well, no, they were kind of interspersed between you in initiative order. Now you've kind of got a bunch of you go at the same time. So Crystal, it's your turn.
Okay, well, in that case, stomp, stand, reverse, conjure, and I shall evoke a jumble of rocks around this zombie here. I don't know if you can see that.
One
Mhm.
that's injured.
The one that's injured,
Both injured.
dealing D4 damage plus spellcasting ability modifier and forcing a basic reflex save on it.
The one
this-
next to
this is
Rasilka, is that the one you're
gravel.
talking about?
That's the
near
one,
you?
yeah, the one that's
Yep.
the
Okay.
one that's getting dangerously. Oh, have it! The one that's getting dangerously close to Foxy Lady.
Sure. And I need to make a reflex saving throw.
Yes, you do.
Right. Well.
But I
Otherwise,
saved that
okay.
for LaRue to stab in the face.
I
Well,
know, but
death
LaRue
by
doesn't want to
gravel.
stab it. Oh,
Oh,
word!
what?
So it takes this 7 damage, but can move freely across the land that is an uneven and jiggling shitstorm of randomly moving rocks.
Well,
If
not
you did
anymore,
7
can't.
damage, it's dead.
It's dead.
Boom.
If you did 3 damage, it was dead.
Oh, okay. So it's dead.
Yes. Your rocks crush it to pieces, sludge pouring out between them.
Fortunately, it shoots up, so you're okay there, Dan. You're not getting
You've got-
covered in goo.
Have you got you got one more action?
Yes, I have, actually.
Ooh.
And I've no idea what to do with it.
Does your dandelion want to do something?
My Eidolon uses my actions, so it can only do what I can do.
Yeah, but you can move it up to stand in front of a zombie so it doesn't come and fight you.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead it will fight my Eidolon and kill that. Great.
Oh, and you
Score.
take the damage, don't you? You share hit
Yes,
points.
I
Oh,
still take the
that's
damage
Crap.
for
Yeah.
being hit by the Eidolon. But what I will do,
You should move around the tree.
oh, that's funky. It moved both of them.
Uh-huh.
I'll do that then.
Joined at the hip.
There we go. Now it's got to get past both of us to get to Foxy Lady.
Oh, that's kind. I think it's about to have its brains blown out, isn't it?
I hope so.
I can't
Oh,
see
Clip.
it.
Clip can't see it. Oh, yeah.
Oh no, Clip.
It's your go, Clip.
Is it Maga? Well, I can see a zombie, so I'm gonna go shoot myself that zombie down in the south.
Okay.
I'm not gonna shoot it in the south. Reload, because I
Mhm.
fired and reload and fired. I just realized the action economy has impacts. But hey,
You
um,
want to get that rapid
It's-
reload feat?
that's barely a hit, isn't it?
That's just hit.
Alright, that'll do.
It is a hit. Is a hit.
We'll do myself some damage. Crap damage.
Pew.
Draw another weapon. Is
You
that an
blast.
action?
Sorry?
If I drew another weapon, would that be an action?
I think it is, yes, unless you
Yeah.
have quick draw.
I don't.
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
If you don't have quick draw, it is an action.
Alright, in that case-
Interact. It's an interact. You use your hand or hands to manipulate an object. or
Move up
terrain.
so you can see more.
I don't want to move up. I'm quite
There's a
happy.
wall
at
of
the-
us between you and the zombies.
Yeah, I'm quite happy at the back.
That's what he
Thank you very
likes.
much. I'm going to reload.
Okay,
I'll do a
yeah, it's
couple of
probably a good
reload
idea
actions,
for the gunslinger to reload.
which means I will effectively
Okay,
be hidden.
so next it's Einar.
Can you move diagonally? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's fine.
Quite sure how.
Just drag him. Oh, that counts
Oh.
as one. Just move him
All right.
to the diagonal position. That's fine.
That's where I was trying to aim for, basically.
Yeah, you can go in there, in between the two of them.
Cool. And then I'm gonna
Wait, there are two of them.
that one.
There are two of them.
Yes,
Mhm.
I can't see the other
good idea.
I couldn't until now.
Let's go for it.
Whoa,
one.
Hey!
Yay!
26.
Critical
That's a
hit.
critical.
Look at
Nice.
that. Let's roll some critical damage.
Oh!
Splat.
You bring your Ranseur up through its
Oh,
body, momentarily lifting it off the ground, and then the weight of on and its decaying body mean it sort of slides down in two halves, hitting the floor either side on a foot and then falling over into the shrubbery behind. And you're like, ha ha!
Excellent. And then I'm gonna see if I can have as much luck with
Go,
the next one.
yeah.
Go for it. Right, with your
Close.
20.
that's a hit. Not a critical, but a hit.
Back to form.
And then a one. Oh man. All right.
Okay, so you hurt it. Cool. Okay.
Chip it away.
Next,
Chip
after
it away.
Einar is LaRue.
It's LaRue. Okay.
Mhm.
So this one that's closing in quite close to us, I'm going to try and do Divine Lance to it.
Oh,
Ooh.
lovely.
Love a nice divine lance. When
Does
that
that do-
goes well, that goes well.
There you go. There's 23. I assume that hits.
Yeah,
Bear
oh, yeah.
with me a second.
It's a zombie, so it might actually affect it better.
Ooh.
Where is your Divine Lance? Because there's something about Divine Lance which makes it very fussy about who you're flinging it at.
Oh yeah. So
Uh.
choose an alignment. Your deity. Chaos good. So I'm good. You can't cast a spell if you don't have a deity, or if you have a deity, it's true neutral. Make a ranged spell attack rolling against the target's AC. On a hit, the target takes the damage of the chosen alignment type equal to 1d4 plus your spellcasting modifier. Double the damage on a critical hit. And the
So
spell.
you're damaging evil, basically, aren't you?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So
They're
let me just
not
check the
evil.
zombie shambler.
But as long as it's evil, you're okay.
Well, no,
Maybe.
so you're inflicting like
Good
lawful
damage.
damage or good damage.
Good damage.
Yeah. So if it had a weakness to good, then it could take more damage. Or it might have an immunity to
Mm.
something, but it doesn't either way. So this will work if you successful. Did you roll
Yeah, I rolled a
Yeah.
23.
23? Wow.
So that should be
Is that a
crit
critical?
as well.
That is a critical hit.
for
So
double
yeah.
damage.
I will
Yeah.
roll the damage and double it. It takes 16 points of damage.
You critically good it in the face.
Oh man, that's
She's
good.
like,
Wow. So
That is
that's the
some
one
gooding. that
by the
is.
wall,
Hey,
yeah?
hey,
that's the one by
wait.
the wall.
Can I use my reaction to aid you and get some credit for this?
Don't worry,
might be a
I have
bit
I
late.
have another action, so
Oh,
don't
okay.
worry. You can aid that action.
Ooh, okay.
Okay,
Is it
so
still
you're-
alive?
What does that look like, your Divine Lance? How does that appear and manifest?
So she kind of like, kind of waves her arms around. She's very over exaggerated with her magic. But you can see like this light coming down, even though the canopy feels very dark. The
Mhm.
light comes down through the canopy, and as it does, she kind of almost gathers that light up and then throws that light outwards as a beam.
Cool.
Like
Very
all
cool.
of your magic, I envisage as the Yojimbo summon from Final Fantasy IX.
Yes, you are absolutely right.
It's very bright for all of you for a moment. Then you look back at the zombie, and it has like a hole through the middle of it, with a red singed, still glowing edge to that hole, where its torso used to be, and you can see that its rib cage is barely holding it together as it's like now sort of flopping in the middle, coming towards you, and in there little bits are like dropping down slowly. Like,
Oh, so gross. Anyway, with my remaining action, Millie, would you like to aid me?
Of course, yeah, absolutely. I don't know what you're going to do, but I will
I'm
offer
a
some
diplomat.
slightly patronizing but encouraging words.
does it require a skill check or an attack roll?
Yeah, an attack roll.
Okay, well there you go.
That's a fail.
You did your best.
No, you do
Not
your
really.
best. You do your best.
So all of a sudden, LaRue's tails come round and they flick, and as they flick, ice comes off them and heads straight towards
Yes.
the creature.
The ice
wicked.
knife.
Is that critical?
Oh.
Daka daka daka.
Not quite. You
Not
needed
quite, right.
22 for a
Right.
critical.
That's fine. I do one point of damage. Have we got another hero point yet? Can I use it?
How many have you used?
I've only used one so far.
You get your second one by
you got
now.
another hero point.
Let's call this. Let's try it.
Oh,
There you go. 2 points of damage.
Oh,
As some
man.
icicles flick off from the tail.
You were close.
Double
Oh,
damage.
wish I'd have known that after rolling my 1 on damage.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Okay. I don't think technically you should be able to use hero points to reroll damage, but I say, what the hell?
Oh,
You're
You
in
guys are the
charge.
heroes, so it doesn't matter. Right, who's next? After LaRue, it's that zombie. So he's going to come back and get you in a second. One moment.
I can't see him. Don't mind. I don't know
Don't
what
worry.
you all are doing now. Surely all the zombies are gone.
We can have him.
Okay, so it's going to come forward and
And give up.
Should
It's going to surrender.
Lie down on the floor.
no, it's going to flop it's like really flopping in the middle in its body as its legs come forward. Its body like
Quite
is
ill
catching
now.
up as it like steps, and it comes forwards towards the summoner, Crystal, and it's going
Chin
to
the
attack.
fucker.
It's going to attack Crystal.
Hit him in the rocks.
Here we go. Yeah, those annoying rocks. Here we go. Oh, that's a hit. Look at that. Is your armor class 13?
My armor class is toilet.
Okay, so it hits you.
I can't
And it
even
does.
use armor, not even
Boom.
light armor.
Boom.
I
there
am
you
the
go.
least armored person available.
Ow.
Roger, you
That
need
is
my
gonna
damage rolling
smart.
skills. There you go. I
Oh,
can't use
man.
an action to grab you because
Used the move.
it used the move.
Yeah.
Yep. And they're slowed 1 permanently. So if you're slowed, the number you're slowed is how many actions you lose every time.
So it's done 8 damage to me.
And 8 damage to you. And then the
Wow.
other one is going
Damage.
to attack Einar. So it is in close combat. It is going to attack. Here we go. We'll get quicker at this as we go along.
Oh,
Boom. Oh, nearly a critical. Look at that.
Oh,
Here we go. And we
yeah.
do.
Oh,
Max damage.
man.
Stop it.
Are
The
you sure you've
GM's
not
got all the max dice.
Yeah, like
Did I set that
GM rolls high mod.
I'll turn
on
that toggle
Foundry.
off where it's
Yeah.
like evil GM saying. And you're
Oh.
grabbed now, Einar.
Ow.
Okay.
Right, just fork it.
Roger's just not saying anything. He's just
It'll
not
be
happy. It's
fine.
like, yeah, whatever, sod off.
No.
Fork it.
Stab it in the face with my spear.
Oh, I'll have to hit it about 16 times to kill it. I'll keep rolling ones, but I'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could just move it up 1 square, then I'll shoot it.
Okay.
At the
So
moment, I can't say it.
that was that zombie. Back round to the beginning with Rasulka.
Are you gonna go again? Do you think we can do this before?
Well, there's
before
one
too
zombie
late?
left.
Alright.
Oh, 2
Uh,
zombies
two.
left.
2 zombies.
okay.
Come on.
All right.
Bring it home.
I will. I guess I'm gonna move.
Seriously, help Einar because we've got this.
You sure?
Oh yeah.
All right.
This dude's got like 1 hit on him and we can't get to Einar in time to help him,
1,
whereas you can.
2, 2, 3, 4. It's all right. I know. I've come to help you. Just totally inspiring.
Da-da-da.
Like, I'm covered,
As you come like swatting through the branches and doing a roly-poly.
covered in dirt. Don't
I'm
look
just
great.
kind of picturing Einar holding the spear the wrong way round. That's why it's not doing any damage. You're hitting him with the blunt end.
Hit him
Use
with
the
the
pointy end.
and then I'm going to try and stab a zombie. Oh!
Yay!
Yay!
That's pretty crit.
I'm
That's
gonna-
good. Your weapon's deadly, isn't it?
Yep.
Um,
Deadly D8.
You get
Yeah.
another D8 damage on top of.
so if I-
Everything else.
So you roll that after you double. So roll the critical damage.
yeah.
Oh, it's done it for you. It's done it for you.
Yes, there we go.
How the hell did you roll 8 points of damage?
I rolled a 1 and a
one,
2.
2. Oh, Christ.
That's rubbish.
Yeah.
What's
So
going on with your
Reroll.
guys' damage
Reroll.
rolls?
You got another hit.
I don't have another go. It's fine.
Just keep going.
Used your hero points.
Yes, I've used my hero points before when I've done really badly to try and not fail the diplomacy. I'm going to stab it again.
Okay.
With,
Why won't you die?
21. That's
Oh.
a hit.
Yay!
And a reroll for Millie coming in at the last minute.
It's all right. I'm just going
From
to.
Lich Queen DM. Thank you, Lich Queen
I
DM.
did 7 points of damage to it.
Hey, that's more like
And that is just enough to kill it.
take
Ah,
it down.
I was
You
gonna
run
use
it
my-
through, and your
Look.
hand keeps going through its body,
These were good gloves.
and you
Shake.
pull it out, and it
They
like
were.
topples to the side.
Did it. I saved you, Einhar. You don't have to worry about it. I'm here for you, pal.
You're kind of wiping your hand on his side.
Like on his tabard or something. Just
I
right.
don't think that really fits with Einhar's heroic idiom, does it? Okay, Crystal.
I wasn't kidding. I am literally going to chin this guy.
Oh, right, okay.
Go for it.
This is where Crystal misses 3 times in hand-to-hand combat.
You saying?
Oh.
Papa.
Very nice, critical.
Yeah.
roll that critical. Is that critical?
It's a knuckle duster. What damage do you expect from it?
No, but you
That's
didn't
not a
press
crit, though.
critical, did you?
I didn't press critical. No, you're right. Let me press critical.
So
Hey!
That's better.
That was max damage you just rolled.
Yes,
Yes,
that
it was.
Okay, so as it's kind of flipping and flopping towards you,
Oh, that's
you time it precisely as its head comes forward, and you just and you punch it so hard you don't take its head off. You separate its body at the ribs where the hole was burnt through, and the whole top of its torso flies backwards and slaps into the ground.
No.
And for a moment there is quiet in the forest, and then Rasilka says something loud and bawdy.
Yes, absolutely.
And you have defeated all of the zombies. Congratulations. And as you kind of sort of wipe the muck off and get your weapons
I'm fine.
sorted, and maybe lick your wound slightly, you see ahead of you the structures poking out of the forest, and we shall explore the Shattered District next week.
Next time on Garblag Games.
Next time on Roads and Ruins. Okay, thank you guys. That was a lot of fun. It was good to get a combat in and do it. I know we ran a little bit later and I had a couple of coughing fits, so thanks for putting up with me. Thank you everyone for watching and for the raid from Heavyweight. That's really cool.
I'm hoping that all of our future combats will be less horrendously unlucky.
Well, hopefully Roger will
Wouldn't
be
bet
able
on
to
it.
dish out some damage in the future. Roger, I don't. I'll check the settings, make sure I didn't have Roger on roll ones again. So thank you for watching. Please don't forget to check out all our social media. Links are below in the about if you're watching on Twitch, and on the video description if you're watching back on YouTube later. If you are watching on YouTube, come and join us on Twitch.
Yeah.
And if you have watched us live, please don't forget to go and check out the YouTube version and give it a like and a hey, this is cool comment or something like that. Come and join us on our Discord. We're approaching 600 members now on our Discord. It's a great community.
Oh, Pete, we're approaching 1,000.
Approaching 1,000. Sorry, yes, yeah. Great community. Loads of people talking all the time, and the Gift War channel is always lively.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
See you there.
On the screen right now. Also, check out our Patreon. We'll be giving a load of Pathfinder stuff away on our Patreon. The Jotun Ancestry, Roger's character, is one of those. That has just recently been given away to our Seeker tier and above. And we also do Gaming with Garblags for some of our tiers. There's a whole load of stuff on there, so go and check that out. There's also a load of free stuff, so even if you don't sign up, you can pick up some things for various games that we've done in the past. Tomorrow, Millie, what's going on? Save my voice. What's going on rest of the week?
What are we on? We're on Tuesday.
For the rest of the week,
Tuesday.
we're on Tuesday at the minute. So Wednesday, we've got a Watitao,
Watitao.
which is Once Upon a Time in the Old West. Roger, what's happening in Once Upon a Time in the Old West? Are you winning?
Well, it's
you
in the
winning,
old world
son?
rather than the old west. 'Cause that
Oh,
would be
yeah.
a bit weird.
Same thing.
I mean, almost.
There
I mean,
you
there's
go.
definitely
They're
probably
winning
going to
in
be
the
some
old world.
gunslinging. We've been running around after running around in the sewers and finding very, very bad things like demons and all sorts of just nope. We decided to get out of there and then go up into the main town where we thought everything would be fine. But is it though?
No. I'm going to guess no.
Thursday, Millie, what have we got? We got Star Trek. What's Star Trek in?
We're doing Star Trek Endurance, and we've just come back from
And there's going to be a war, and it's going to be
mission.
cool, and we're going to win
there
it.
is not
and
going
there's
to
a
be
war council that the
There'll be no
Felicity
war.
Ashton's crew have been invited to, because our captain is definitely not a spy.
Probably is, though.
Probably is, though. Yeah, that's what we're doing on Thursday. War council. Totally Star Trek.
And then on Friday, it's Star Wars. Pew, pew, pew. Me and Rog and a couple of other people who might be along as well. Matt's running us through post-Empire Star Wars adventure where there's running and there's shooting and there's beating people up at bars.
Classic Star Wars.
It is the
Yeah.
dark times.
Sounds
It is the
great.
dark times.
Cool.
Classic Star Wars. Loving it.
Excellent. Right.
And on Saturday, there's nothing happening because it's the weekend, and we Sleep.
Is that what we
Don't
do?
sleep. I fight small children.
You fight small children. Yes, that's true.
But yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. We've been Garblag Games, and that's a bit of Pathfinder. And stay safe, and we'll see you out there. Bye bye.
Bye bye.